others within the camp of Tinubu have considered everyone who is opposed to Tinubu spending 8 years, like others before him, like Bukwari, right? Is that person is cutting the wrath of the establishment. This is the position, but let me explain what they mean by that. It doesn't matter if Tinubu and his criminal regime, illegitimate regime, it doesn't matter if they are wrecking Nigeria. It doesn't really matter if people have become more vulnerable and poorer. It doesn't matter. The seat of power in Nigeria, according to those around Tinubu, is a turn-by-turn Nigeria Limited, which means as worst as Bukwari was, that they had to endure and stood by him, and therefore whatever it is that anyone feels about Tinubu, it is going to cause a problem for anyone or anybody to form an opposition in the interest of taking power from him. Taking power from Tinubu in 2027, according to the rogues around him, is tantamount to creating it's like a tantamount to a threat to national security of Nigeria. So, Patawale, the former governor of Zamfara, who is now the Minister of State for Nigeria, of Defense, Nigeria, under Tinubu, is the one to issue the first threat to those who are coming together in their plot to remove Tinubu. He said, a Fulani man has spent 8 years, a northerner. The right thing right now is for the South, represented by Tinubu, to spend his own 8 years too. That the likes of Amaechi should understand something, right? As a former minister himself and a former governor, there is utterances of openly criticizing Tinubu in that manner. It's like calling on the Nigerians to attack Tinubu's government. And doing so will come with consequences that Amaechi should be prepared. Like criticizing Tinubu in this manner, or calling the people to get Tinubu removed in 2027 is like cutting a national problem. And Amaechi will be treated accordingly, like it will be dealt with accordingly if he doesn't, if he doesn't desist from that. So this is the agenda, just so for those who care to listen and those who don't really care to listen. Tinubu's presidency, as corrupt, incompetent, and as crooked as they are, they believe it is their turn, it is their right. So if you, for any reason, is found among those who are plotting to get Tinubu removed, like when you say removed, it's like saying that they could use the election to remove Tinubu, and anyone or everyone in that enterprise or in that adventure have to be very careful of what they say, because for the peace of Nigeria, for the peace of that Nigeria, Tinubu must do 8 years. So, just like I said before, I am looking forward to the time when their center will no longer hold. I'm waiting for the time when, because I can feel it that they've already pressed what is called the self-destruct button, like a PDP did. But I just don't know how soon the entire center will implode, but it seems to be cooking, right? Now that is that. On the other part, it is the, brewing disagreement, threats left, right, and center on this Sharia in Yoruba land. Brethren, if I can kind of like take us a little bit back to 2016, 2017, nearly 2 years. It wasn't up to 2 years. It was like a few months after Bukwari in 2015. By 2016, by June 2016, Bukwari's regime and those around him, they were already unleashing their what we now known as Fulani or Fulanization agenda, Remember that before this APC, the most prominent terrorist in the Nigeria's space was the Boko Haram. Alhaji Shekau, remember him. But just 8 months after Boko Haram, we started seeing the adventure of the Fulani terrorists up north, and slowly but surely spread to the southern part of Nigeria. Kidnapping, farm invasion, destroying of people's farms, and then killing anybody who tried to fight them, and on and on and on and on. Then they started the agenda of farmers-others clashes, remember? Oh, farmers-others clashes. It was only the farmers that were being killed. How come the farmers-others clashed on the farmer's farm, and it is only the farmer that get killed, or the farmer's village that got burned down? What kind of narrative is this? What kind of agenda is this? Farmers-others clashes. Waiting Fulani others they find on top Yoruba farmers farm. How is that even a genuine report? So we started digging only to realize that it was a mean to an end, only for the Boko Haram regime to start a different kind of like agenda for peace to reign. People must be willing to give up their farms, their lands, your land or your life. Or we need to start a cattle colony. We needed a grazing route. All the false lies that these guys kind of like a push for their agenda, right? I'm just reminding you of this, so in case if you have forgotten, because there is new agenda on the horizon right now, and it will be defeated as well. All right, it will be. So back then, right, the Fulani terrorists, as they wanted to be called Fulani herdsmen. They weren't herdsmen, they were terrorists that terrorized both the west, the east, until people responded. So they said, oh, okay, to stop farmers others. What do you mean farmers others clashes? You're not mad? Well, they said to stop farmers others clashes, we needed to go back to grazing route. I was like, come, how can the Fulanis have grazing route in Yoruba land or any land at all in Nigeria? Like, say they had a route where their cows were allowed to pass. So say, in Yoruba land, we're going to kill you, and that's your grazing route. So that was defeated. This was, I'm talking about the policies of the federal government or the Fulani government of Nigeria then, right? Then they said, oh, okay, we needed to start a cattle colony. Cattle colony. There will be no cattle colony in Yoruba land. How many of you remember that time? There will be none. They were gaslighting us. They were threatening us. There was nothing they didn't try. If you remember, just because they wanted to bring in these Fulani murderers, these Fulani terrorists into our midst. If you remember, it was rejected. Then they appointed the Pastor Ruga to go and start what they call the rural grazing areas. Rural grazing areas. Ruga. In Yoruba land, no, there will be no Ruga in Yoruba land. And almost everywhere, including the middle belt part of Nigeria, they said, no, we will never subscribe to any Ruga. You know, they were proposing things to give, they call it the peace conditions. They were telling the indigenous people, the only pathway to peace was going to be on the terms of the Fulanis. But don't forget, there were also Olori Buruku Yorubas who were actually supporting the idea. There were Yoruba Omuales, the Yoruba bastards within the APC. Some of them have now turned to the Ronukus of today, who indeed said there were lands were just there wasting, give it to them. Let us just, you know, why are you always like, it's because you hated Boko Haram, this idea, you know, they had to do ranching, they had to do this and that for the Fulanis. And we're like, cow business is a private business, just like a spare parts business. If you wanted to start a business, if you want to start a spare part business right now, you will go and raise your fund anywhere. Then you're going to approach, if you want to buy land to build the shops, or if you want to rent a shop, you have to approach the owners, register yourselves, and pay the rent. Abi, it wasn't the government. It wasn't like the Igbos, for example, who are into the spare part business. The Igbos did not group themselves and start shooting and killing people and asking for a land to build their own mechanic shop or whatever other shops they wanted. So why should anybody with cows be given a special treatment whereby, rather than treat them as terrorists as they are, why should anybody part with their lands? If the Fulanis want lands that they wanted to rear their cows, the ideal thing is for them to approach the landowners and pay them to buy or rent the lands. Not that you are going to invade people's farms, destroy their farms, and then kill them, ransack villages, and kill people in their sleeps. And then all of a sudden, it will become the policy of the government at the center. The indigenous people must part with their land for peace. What kind of peace is that? I'm reminding you all these agendas because they all seemed like yesterday. There wasn't anything they didn't try. So when they realized that the Ruga won't pass, they decided to use the National Assembly, where they started proposing what they call the waterway bills. Remember? All of this to get the Fulani terrorists indigenized in the southern part of Nigeria. Okay? And at the same time, create their own, they will give them, from this small space to that large space. And then they will give them their own local government areas within Yoruba land, within the Igbo land. But people saw through all of that. If you are going to have any peace, you can't have peace with murderers. They were meant to be dealt with as murderers, as terrorists, right? But we had Yoruba bastards at the time, because of their loyalty to APC. They said it was a good idea to give our lands to murderers. So they brought what they call the waterway bills. That one, they said, every water in Nigeria, because it is the southern Nigeria that actually has any kind of like economically viable waterways, right? So they said, waterway bills means every water in Nigeria is owned by the federal government of Nigeria, and not just the water. They said 10 kilometers away from the water bank. If you have this, let me use the example of, have you been to the bar beach in Lagos? If you haven't, well, you have an idea of what beach looks like, right? So if you have been to the bar beach in Lagos, right, it simply means you see where that water stops. Then they will now measure 10 kilometers of that land straight into the Lagos Island. So you get now. Now, all the properties, the land there is going to be owned by the federal government of Nigeria. And as the federal government of Nigeria, the idea was they can then allocate the lands to the Fulani terrorists and their cows. So that also got rejected. In fact, got defeated in the National Assembly. So you see all these tricks, they've kind of given us an idea of what APC, Egbekebe, represents. So when they pushed their Muslim ticket, I knew that something was going to come out of that again, that is always going to be like the anti, the people. So Muslim tickets that doesn't really give a damn about any Muslim whatsoever, other than just the idea of subjugation, control, which is so synonymous with this Fulanese, so to say, especially the elite. So the great-grandson of Uthman Danfodio, the first terrorist in the land that is now known as part of Nigeria today, Saad Abubakar, who is the Sultan of Sokoto right now, and those who are probably working with him, they now pushed one thing just 2 days ago. It's like a rage, where the Sultan of Sokoto was so disappointed in the Yorubas, and he called us intolerance. Yorubas are not tolerant of other religions. He said, Yorubas, in this manner, like, say, if you are not a Muslim and you are a Yoruba, you are considered as somebody who is intolerant, because they are pushing the agenda of a Sharia this, Sharia that. So under Bokwari, it was Ruga, cattle colony, grazing routes. Now, under Tinubu, in their Muslim ticket, it is now Sharia. Okay? Sharia, where they said they want their own courts. After having their Sharia panels, they also want their own court, where they don't have to take what they call the Muslim cases to any conventional court, but their own court. And then people were like, you know what? Even the Yoruba Muslims were like, what are you talking about? We don't need Sharia. We don't want Sharia. All right? Then you also, again, right now, you have the Yoruba bastards, Yoruba Omuale Yorubas, right? Who are indeed, because this is just like during the Bokwari's time, when the Yorubas rose up and said, okay, we're going to start a Amotekun to defend ourselves against this marauding Fulani terrorist. There were Yorubas who were completely against it. The number one person who was against Yorubas defending Yoruba land is no other person than this Tinubu, this druggie, Kolu, the man that went to see the Afenifere leader back then, Fashoroti. And then it was like, when his daughter was killed, Tinubu was there to ask her, where are the cows? In defense of these Fulani murderers, these Fulani terrorists. And there were Yorubas who were on the ground and said, there's nothing wrong if we give them land for peace. They didn't get a piece of land, talk less of any other piece what they are proposing, right? Till today, there's no single plot of Ruga in Yoruba land. 8 years of Bokwari couldn't give them that. Because there are some of them, especially those who are in the APC, who believe that they have something in common with the North, their religion. You understand that there are Yoruba Muslims, right? Fanatics, who kind of feel like they are Fulanis too, because of their religion with the North. Even though nobody really gives a shit about them per se. But they just like, pretty much like wannabe Muslims or wannabe terrorists who are probably presently don't even have what it takes to behead someone, but they will get there. Hopefully, they hope they will get there. So another thing to get them, have something they will call, something they share in common with this northern terrorist. Again, religion. So to them, anyone insulting the Satan of Sokoto is insulting Islam. And they are not going to take that lightly with anyone. Right? So this next 2 years, or maybe 6 years, if Tinubu rigged himself again, right? So their agenda obviously is clear. It is going to be religious and inciting religious, possible religious war in Yoruba land. So I was on one of their gathering online yesterday. Not really was there per se until one of their contributors, statements actually caught my attention. There is this mad person from Kogi, right? He's been tagged Kogi jihadist. So when the Satan of Sokoto said that the rejection of Sharia by the Yorubas is a disappointing stop for him, and also it showed that Yorubas are not allowing Muslims, Yoruba Muslims, to practice their religion. A complete falsehood, lies. Up to this moment, people are practicing their religion as they deem fit. But again, the agenda is to rile people and possibly activate a religious crisis in Yoruba land. And that is what their Muslim ticket agenda is going to unravel. The last time their agenda was the Fulanization agenda, and it got defeated, astoundingly. And that is why today, yes, they are still in our forests, perpetrating all kinds of terrorism, kidnapping our people for ransom. Indeed. In fact, some of them even believe that it's just a matter of time that they would have their day when they will round all of us up, because they've already surrounded us in Yoruba land. But this is also in their heads, okay? Because they will always try. Unfortunately, we have weak men and weak women, you know, who are currently parading themselves as political leaders of Yoruba land. But even at that, the general resolve of the people is that if we say no to this, and everybody says no to this, not even the weakest political rogues in Yoruba land can make that happen. So, in their gathering, this madman, this mad mofo from Kogi, now said, who practically claimed to be Yoruba, but again, he is not really proud to be Yoruba, because according to him, he feels so sad that a part of him is Yoruba and a part of him is Fulani. That it seems that it is time for them to start a jihad in Yoruba land. What does that even mean? A jihad to start a Sharia? Do. How about you start your jihad right now and watch even your own supposed fellow Muslim capture you and beat you to stupor? So they were having this conversation online, and a copy of that is here with us tonight. But first thing first, when the Are Ona Kakanfo, Iba Gani Adam, right, had this to say earlier on the matter, right? Let's start with this.
Láti wá fi ṣàríà òfin ṣàríà da ilẹ̀ Yorùbá rú. Ìdí mo sọ̀rọ̀ yìí, background mi Muslim ni. Ṣàríà wà nínú Al-Quran gẹ́gẹ́ bí òfin. Ṣùgbọ́n bí àwọn ará bí ṣe ń lo ṣàríà nílùú Nàìjíríà, ó lọ́wọ́ òṣèlú nú. Ó dẹ̀ ní ọwọ́ ìmúnilóko ẹrú ẹ̀sìn nú. Ó dẹ̀ ní ọwọ́ jàǹbá nínú. Ṣàríà tí wọ́n lò ní Zamfara. Àmọ́ jàǹbá tó fi ṣe fún gbogbo àwọn ẹlẹ́sìn Kristẹni tó wà ní Zamfara. Àdẹ̀mọ́ jàǹbá tó fi ṣe fún àwọn ẹ̀yà tí ò ṣe ẹ̀yà Fúlàní àti Haúsá ní Zamfara. Nàìjíríà. Abdulsalam ló sneak penal code wọnú ẹ̀ ní 1999. Kò sí ní 1960 constitution tá a gbà papọ̀ pé ẹni ṣe ṣàríà kò sí ní òfin wa. Kò sí ní Republic constitution pé ṣàríà wà ní òfin wa. 1979 constitution kò sí ṣàríà bẹ́ẹ̀. Ṣùgbọ́n ní àfàlà àgbà tó fẹ́ gbẹ̀jọba fún àwọn ìjọba alágbádá ló fi ṣàríà wọnú ẹ̀ fún Professor Wadidu tó jẹ́ special adviser on religion matters, legal matters, sorry, nígbà yẹn. Àtìgbà yẹn ní òkè ọya wàhálà lẹ́yìn wàhálà lọ́la ni nítorí ṣàríà àti ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀sìn alákatakítí. Ní ilẹ̀ Yorùbá, Muslim, Christian àti ẹ̀sìn alábàláyé wọ́n fẹ́ra wọn tako ara wọn. Yorùbá ò gbé ẹ̀sìn alákatakítí sórí. Ìwà ni Yorùbá máa ń wò, ọmọlúwàbí la máa ń wò, àwọn ẹ̀sìn tí a tó mọ èèyàn gidi. So mo bẹ̀ àwọn ìjọba wá kí wí á sí o, mo ti rí Ògùn state governor tó ti condemn in totality. Mo ti rí Èkìtì state governor tó ti condemn in totality. Mo ti rí Ọ̀yọ́ state governor wọ́n ti condemn náà. Èdè wa gẹ́gẹ́ bí Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Mo condemn in totality wípé a fẹ́ ṣàríà.
Oh, go fail. Sorry if you don't understand Yoruba. Let me give you a bit of a recap of what Iba Gani Adam said there. According to him, it was Abdulsalami Abubakar that smuggled this Sharia nonsense into the constitution of Nigeria, the Decree 24, military constitution of Abdulsalami Abubakar. Iba Gani Adams went the memory lane by saying, in the 1960, 1963, and 1979 constitutions of Nigeria, there was nothing called Sharia. That yes, there is Sharia in the Quran for the religious people. However, we have seen what they have used their Sharia to do to other religious bodies in the northern part of Nigeria, especially Christians. How they, because their Sharia is not the same Sharia you have in that Quran. Their own Sharia is mainly political Sharia. It is a Sharia that is all for control and subjugation of non-Muslims, so to say. And he's very right. So this is where the complexity, it's not that complex, so deep, but this is where the complexity comes in. A normal Muslim, a normal Muslim, like a proper Muslims will be like, may likely get offended when you say, we don't want Sharia. Because to him, it's maybe sounding as if like, I don't want your religion. And you know, people out of that, dismissal can say a lot of things. And somebody who is a Muslim can begin to take offense and be like, well, why are you saying all of this about Islam? Why are you, you know what I mean? So that is why the extremists, right? We call them the Alakatakiti Esin, all right? The extremists would always give themselves up because their own utterances, right? If you listen to them, right, you can tell why you must resist anything called Sharia in any part of Nigeria to start with, but maybe too late some places. But in Yoruba land, it will not happen. Don't fret yourself over anything. It's not going to happen. Okay? Because when you listen to those who are proposing this, all you have to worry about, the reason why you have to be worried about that nonsense Sharia is more pronounced in what they are saying. You can tell that they are calling those who are like Yoruba Muslims who have been existing before Uthman Danfodio, before the birth of Danfodio, before they even brought the same Islam to northern part of Nigeria. Historically, it's been down south. It's actually been in Yoruba land. They've been practicing this Islam that in Yoruba land, right? Hundreds of years before Uthman Danfodio found his way to Gobiri and the rest of the northern part of Nigeria in 1804. So it's not them that will come and teach you about Islam. That's what the Yorubas are saying, you know, that it's not be you Fulanis who teach Yorubas about Islam. And therefore we are not going to follow your own type of Islam that is mainly intolerance of others. If you want to know, in northern part of Nigeria, their fake Sharia there, which is their own Fulani Sharia per se. During the Ramadan, you are expected, all of you are expected, right, to abide by the rules set by them, whether you are a Muslim or non-Muslim. If you are a non-Muslim, you have to obey it. They will send out their, their ISBA to go out and arrest people, right, for not obeying the Ramadan rules, what have you. They get people who are actually non-Muslims beaten up. They have non-Muslims tried in their Sharia court and sentenced to death. Jetau, remember the Jetau, that lady that was recently released, all because she was sharing the video condemning the killings of Deborah. So the intolerance in them is, if you get killed by them, you will see the rest of their, Muslims or what have you in northern Nigeria justifying the killings of non-Muslims by some mob terrorists called, Islamic fanatics in northern Nigeria. So we have seen a lot from far right, to resist them. And like I said, just listen to the way they speak, the way they talk. Everything that you have to fear about the purpose or the agenda of their Sharia is widely pronounced, loudly pronounced in what they say. So this mofo from Kogi, who said that it seems there should be a jihad. What do you mean jihad? Does that mean that you have to fight us? Like you have to gather some Muslim army to come and fight us in Yoruba land, Abi? Because what do you mean by jihad? Jihad in Yoruba land. There must be, it's time for jihad, right? So let's go listen to this chat. I mean, it's a long one, okay? But here is the first part. Watch it or listen to this.
Peace and progress. I think if you want to have a very decent conversation, there are some characters, particularly as regard them. For me, I don't know if it is still a cruise to some people, but it has now gone beyond cruise. When the life and religion of a group of people is being threatened on their own soil, where they want, some group of people want to turn a fellow, their fellow countrymen and tribe men into second-class citizens in their own father's land because they practice certain religion. That is no longer, it shouldn't be taken for a joke. No agenda should even be tolerated. My joy is I'm not from the Southwest and I'm not living in the Southwest. And God forbid that I'll be in the Southwest and then I'll have some people want to dictate to me on how to practice my religion. It will never happen. I'd rather die than succumb to that kind of mental slavery. Again, I can never be from the Southwest or live in the Southwest and then tolerate what the Muslim Ummah are tolerating in the Southwest today. And it is gradually spreading. You could see what they are doing to the Sultan of Sokoto, the president of the NSCIA, where you have a bunch of vagabonds, and you have a bunch of subliterate, untrained, uncircumcised, Yoruba nation terrorists, and their uchens, unleashing all sorts of unprintable names on the person and office of the Sultan simply because he is playing his role as the leader of the Muslim Ummah in Nigeria. But you do not see that kind of attack when the current president speaks for northern Christians. You will never see any northerner come and question what is why the current president is meddling in the affairs of Hausa Christians, Fulani Christians, Kanuri Christians, Kakanda Christians, and so on and so forth. And so when you now have a particular tribe, and I keep saying it, Yoruba tribe fell so horribly. I don't know where we got it wrong, but it is, I am ashamed that I even have, traces of Yoruba heritage. When I look at what has happened in the last few hours or few months since, the ISP conversation took off, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that the people we have even been putting our eyes on as being the most intolerant in terms of religion is very far from it. I say publicly and openly here that the Yoruba non-Muslims are the most intolerant human beings in all ramifications. Not just intolerance against Christianity, against Islam. They are the most intolerant, especially those that tag themselves conservatives. And they have one thing in common. These are people that they don't exist off social media. That is one. Secondly, these are people that they can't even point you to their father's house in that Yoruba, in so-called Yoruba land. So it is no longer, a cruise, you know. It is now very clear that there is an agenda to completely ostracize Muslims and Islam from southwest Nigeria. And this is where jihad conversation come about. For those of you bastard that you don't know the meaning of jihad, record the conversation. I want to repeat it again. This is now the time that jihad conversation should be taking place now. You're right.
Nuisance lele.
You dey hear him? He's from Kogi, probably from Yagba. Give me the names of the Yoruba communities that are part of Kogi. Is it called Yagba? There's another one from Keneridino's area. Kaba. Kaba. Yagba. And where? Egbe. Mopa. Okun. A Muslim from that place who said he is ashamed of his Yoruba connection. Obviously, maybe his mom is Yoruba, his dad is Fulani, or his dad is Yoruba, his mom is Fulani, and all of that. So these are the weak men we are talking about. Intolerance, Egbamike. Number one, he said he's not living in Yoruba land. So, I mean, fear that somebody like that is not living in Yoruba land. So he's probably never really been to Yoruba land per se. So he's talking about it. So who is not tolerance of the Muslims? I mean, now in Yoruba land, are you being discriminated against as a Muslim in Yoruba land? Do you have any record of anything like that? Have you ever seen anywhere that in Yoruba land that people were not allowed to practice their religion? And what the heck does the Sharia have to do with you practicing your religion? Where is the discrimination he's talking about? So who are those who are not tolerant of the Muslims in Yoruba land? The Christians or the traditionalists? Who? It is all agenda. You get that now? It is an agenda. So see how many people will buy it. How many people, how many Muslims will buy it? Debate. If you remember very well, when this conversation about the Fulani terrorists was also raging, there were those who were busy gaslighting us that the idea of defending ourselves or protecting our people from this invading terrorists was like anti-Nigeria, anti-Northern Nigeria. It was a Fulani phobia. That the Fulanis, they have no other means. Their job is to be moving their cows up and down. And as long as they are part of Nigeria, they can move their cow everywhere. There were those who were pushing that too. There were those who actually pushed that. So if you dare come out to complain about the Fulani terrorists, you will see your fellow Yorubas who are going to come and attack you for it. So similarly, a lot of scenarios were kind of like painted. A lot of pictures were painted. Oh, it's because you don't like us. Oh, it's because you don't like them. I was like, what are you talking about? Every Friday, you will still see some streets in Lagos, so across Yoruba land, you will still see some streets that were completely taken over by the Muslim Ummah praying on Fridays. We have all our churches, mosques everywhere, and I've not really seen anywhere they said, okay, we are going to stop people from going to go and do their prayer. What people are saying is that we don't want your Sharia panel or your Sharia courts in Yoruba land. That is not saying they don't want you Muslim, because how are we going to do it? In every family, you have a Muslim, you have a Christian. People they've like intermarried and what have you. So what is the idea of people saying we don't want Sharia? It's as simple as that. We don't want it. So how does that stop you from practicing your religion? How did that stop anybody? They know that it's not stopping everybody or anyone. But they already have those who are already biting into that agenda anyway. And according to them, we might need to start a jihad. So my own question is, who are you going to fight the jihad with? Me? Or your family members? Or your neighbors? Or what do you mean by that jihad? What are you going to do? You're going to start attacking us? Like you're going to start what? Eje. Oh, Eje. You know those who are going to actually really beat you up. And your fellow Muslims. Because we can tell where your extremism is coming from. And the moment it is totally against the tradition and the culture of Yoruba land. Because we are Yoruba people. We are not kind of like extremists per se. We are not. We are not the type that's going to begin to behead people and be shouting Allahu Akbar. That's not our culture. That's not our tradition. People just want to practice their religion, you know, their relationship with their own God. Whether you are a Christian or a Muslim or a traditionalist, it doesn't really matter. Everybody's just kind of like doing their own thing. So where is this idea of, we can imagine what the Yoruba Muslims are you mad? What the Yoruba Muslims are going through. If the Yoruba Muslims are going through anything, they must be in the hands of their fellow Muslims. It's not because of it. It's not in the hands of any other religion. Similarly, if the Yoruba Christian says they are going through something in Yoruba land, it's never in the hand of any other religion. It is in the hand of their fellow Christians. Abi Ronimopa. If you see Muslims who are complaining about anything, if they complain about anything, in Yoruba land, it must be against them. It must be within themselves. There's no way that you're going to hear anybody say the Christians are doing this to Muslims, or the Muslims are doing this to Christians in Yoruba land, except in Ilorin, where they will continue to remind us that, yes, it was Yoruba land, but it's no longer Yoruba land. Yeah, they love to remind us of that. That it is now a Fulani land. And it's quite a bit of ironical as well. You know? So the story of Afonja and Alimi in Ilorin. So the Afonja, who is supposed to be a Yoruba, a name that is now synonymous to a betrayer. Then the Alimi, the medicine seller, the Fulani medicine seller, that then betrayed Afonja himself, killed him like a piece of a dog, then created his caliphate in Ilorin. With those who are supposed, who were neither Fulani, neither Yoruba, Gambari in Ilorin. If you listen to some of them, they speak Yoruba very, very fluently. They will tell you that they are Yoruba, but they are not Yoruba. So the Fulanis from northern Nigeria or the other Fulanis elsewhere, when they look at them like they are just they're like, because to them, if you are not a Fulani or if you are not a Muslim and a Fulani, they see you as a subhuman. So if you have anything to, like, for example, if you are partly Yoruba and partly Fulani, you are subhuman to them. I don't know if you know that. So see, if you are watching me from Ilorin, yourself, you can admit to this. Are you Yoruba or are you Fulani? Your forebearers, and even some of them till now, they have no allegiance to Yoruba land. Because to them, they will proudly tell you Yorubas are idol worshippers. Abi? Therefore, you are closer to the Allegiano. I mean, what do you call it, right? You are closer to the paradise because you are Fulani. Meanwhile, the real Fulani from up north, they see you as a subhumans. That they don't even see you as a Fulanis. So do you see that level of a confusion in between? But anything from there, from Ilorin, then coming down south, right? Then you realize that what we have there are Yorubas of different tribes within this space. So we are not extremists. We are not people that want to kind of kill because of religion. So similarly, if you look at the people in Kogi, I think some of them are as confused as well. There are some of them who see themselves as Fulani when they are not. Or somehow, right? They have this mixed blood that will make them feel like the Fulani, the Fulani link that they have is more superior to any other tribal affiliation they have. For example, somebody who is from Okun or Yagba or Kaba, who happen to be Yoruba, but then is forebearers who are also partly maybe married to Fulani or got married by Fulani. So they will kind of feel like they are Muslims. Because they are Muslims, then automatically they are more to the north. They see themselves as northern Nigeria than they will see themselves as Yorubas. Confused. You see these two examples, Kogi and then Ilorin. Every now and then, I actually do feel sorry for some of you. Seriously, I feel sorry for you. I know you don't. The reason why I feel sorry for you is because you may be speaking Yoruba, but not that Yorubas won't accept you as one of us, but a majority of you don't even see yourself as Yorubas. Because to you, identifying as Yorubas makes you inferior to your Fulani ancestry, Abi, your Fulani masters. And since you are mostly Muslims, right, automatically you kind of want to see yourself as one of the Fulanis, but yet you are not even kind of given that accord, don't you think? Because it's so easy. When you want to look at the areas where they will pick up on these fanatics, they will see loads of them from Ilorin that will disparage and talk so less of the Yorubas, their Yoruba heritage. When it is convenient, they come around to come and be our Afa in Yoruba land. Yeah, in places where they can do Wahasi, they can, if you need the Wahasi preachers from Ilorin, they'll send them over. But they don't see themselves as Yorubas. When the chiefs are down, they will rather identify as the Fulanis, not central, as part of this whole scheme. So jihad, as in how you want to do it. So you go first start your jihad. For example, because I'm speaking right now as a Yoruba man, will you start your jihad by killing members of your family? Because, you are going to need a simple majority, Abi. You will need simple majority. So that your jihad that you want to start in Yoruba land for your Sharia, where are you going to start it from? Are you going to start it the way they do it in Kano? Are you going to rise from your Jumat prayer and then you are going to enter the streets and you begin to slaughter the non-Muslims so that you can get your Sharia? Oh, they say in Yoruba land, there is a saying that you see, when the beating is not enough, a child will be what? Will be saying it no go better for that person that is beating him. You see, please, please, sir. So I want to hear that jihad from his mouth to explain it.
Threatened. That is why you are admonished. That is the only thing you should fight. You can fight. When people are threatening you from practicing your religion, That is what is happening now. Your right to practice your religion peacefully is now being threatened. They don't want you to exercise your right to practice your religion. That is where jihad conversation should come about. Or that's why we should even be discussing it. What did the teachings, what is jihad all about? What is jihad all about? If you have state governors giving voices, to the online mobs and vagabonds, and people who don't even have a name, who don't have a face, you have state government, you have Christian traditional rulers also amplifying and giving them voices, then you should know that you are now at the breaking point. You should know that you are now in a situation whereby you are not in any way better than the Palestinians and the Gazas. The only difference is that while it is foreigners, the Israelis that are oppressing, trying to steal the land of the Palestinians, your so-called fellow Yorubas are the one that is trying to render you second-class citizens in your own father's land. They are the ones that want to ostracize you and your religion simply because they are either too uninformed, or they are just the level of their Islamophobe cannot just be helped anymore. So I would be surprised. I would actually be surprised, if we are having conversation now, and at the end of the day, we allow people with agenda to come and interject it. I shouldn't even be speaking on this because, like I said, I'm not a Yoruba man. I am an Oko man. I'm not from the Southwest. I'm from Kogi State. And as a Muslim, the Sultan speaks for me and represent my interest. So when you see some group of barbarians from the so-called Yoruba land, Southwest Nigeria, the Yoruba nation terrorists and their apologists, when you see the unprintable names that they have been calling the Sultan, this is just a warning. Alaafin of Oyo is not somebody that we can also not drag. The Oni of Ife is also not somebody that we cannot drag. So when you decide to be unfortunate, and then when we now want to push back, you now begin to say, oh, I told you, Yoruba is a Fulani slave. Yeah, yes, I am. My mother is a Fulani. In fact, I identify more with my Fulani heritage. So this will be just, wetting the ground for what will be happening in the coming months, the coming days, and the coming weeks. If I ever come to you to ask for your vote, to hell with you and your vote. I don't need the vote of Lagos. I don't need the vote of Osun. I don't even need whatever your so-called Yoruba conservatism have to offer. They are useless to me. It has never in any way, it is completely useless to me. If I want to contest election, I'll contest in Kogi. My Oku people, we don't discriminate. We are not Islamophobe. So if I come to you for any future election on the Alaafin of Oyo, remember what you said about the Sultan of Sokoto, who is simply representing you. We are still
Ọmọ àlè rádaràda, ọmọ ìrankíran, ọmọ àlè. Did you hear that part? I told you. If you see the people who have, Nigerian people have kind of like intermarried. You see Yoruba, Igbo, you see Yoruba, Hausa, or you see Hausa, Igbo, you will see Yoruba, Fulani, and all of that stuff. You see, every one of them that is kind of like birthed by a mix of a Fulani. There is something in that, because whether the father is Yoruba and the mother is Fulani, somehow, the inferiority complex always catch them sooner or later, that they believe that they are more Fulani than being Yoruba, or more Fulani than being Okun, which is Yoruba. So you get, it's always there. And somehow, as much as the Fulanis see them as subhumans, but they are like the ready-made religious soldiers, the foot soldiers for the advancement of the Fulani agenda in those areas. You get that now? So it is always, I don't understand. Maybe because I am a full-blooded Yoruba, right? So an Ijebu man. My mom is Ijebu, my dad is Ijebu. Their own parents were Ijebus, and the parents before them, they were Ijebus. It's like a Ijebu. But being a Yoruba man, being an Ijebu man within the nation called the Yoruba nation, right? So there is this pride in being Yoruba. So somebody like me, there's something in being Yoruba. It is like, it is like this generational pride. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what it is like for other people who have a sort of a mixed birth. So you get now like, inter-tribal or inter-ethnic or inter-racial sort of, family. So when I look at confused people, right, who would rather sacrifice their Yoruba-ness for something with no history, like being full. Sorry, apologies to you if you are a Fulani watching me right now, okay? But from what I know, right, you don't even exist until 1807, after the first jihad, terrorism against the Hausa nation. Fulani didn't exist. Nobody can say, okay, except for those who traced you back to Futajalon, Futa sorrow, Futa sadness, or what have you. There's no historical, ancestral sort of proof that you were part of Nigeria. You were never, your ancestors were never until 1807. And that was the moment you started kind of like advancing left, right, and center. Not left, right, and center anyway, to the places you eventually occupied. My ancestors, right, they've been around for thousands of years, put it that way. And they're still around. I mean, we are still occupying the same space that our forebearers remains were buried. So I don't understand how that teachings kind of succeeded, especially in Kogi, in Ilorin, up north that way. I don't know how it succeeded. That if you are a Yoruba person, Papa Yoruba, understand the pride, and you don't understand what being a Yoruba man or woman means. It simply means that you are like a needle with a thread. I better to look on Dinia now. So how could anybody that is not a bastard because of religion, right, we now kind of like worship the Satan of Sokoto above the Satan of Sokoto that doesn't even exist until like 1815, 1820 or thereabouts. There was nothing called Satan. There was nothing called Emir in the old northern Nigeria. They don't exist. They never existed until Danfodio started this his caliphate. So how could anybody from 1804 now? There's nothing called Sultan until even that 1804 was when they started the jihad. Here you get. They never established the Sultanate because he chooses not to be a Sultan. Remember, Danfodio rejected the idea of being a Sultan until his son Bello, and I think Bello had to be the Sultan after the death of Danfodio, killed by the people of Tifi, the Tifi people that harrowed him. You know, they killed the terrorist when he was trying to cross over the Benue. The jihad was coming to Benue. Now they didn't kill him. It's not as if to say the Uthman Danfodio guy was actually like that, a fighter per se. No. It was just like what happened in Ilorin, Aponja and Alimi, right? That's exactly the same trick he used on the Hausa kings, Hausa rulers. First, by turning their household, their communities against them, using religion. He was a Quranic teacher, a charm seller, and a Quranic teacher that became prominent that the Hausa kings invited him to come and teach their children Quran as a teacher. And that was how he got to brainwash some of these young people by telling them that, they should be warriors for Allah. Holy war for Allah. That some of them killed their own parents. Imagine your son walking straight into your house with 2 other boys. And then they kill you. They are there to kill you because their teacher told them to go and do it. Yeah, that's how they captured the northern Nigeria, this northern Nigeria. They couldn't even capture Gobiri, where the Kanuris were. They couldn't capture them. They couldn't defeat them until the British came. Story, history, true story. So they said it was going to be he now set up a caliphate. And that caliphate, right, it was supposed to be the sultan. So he rejected it. Yeah, he actually rejected being a sultan. That is why Uthman Danfodio was never a sultan. It was his son, I think, that was later appointed to become a sultan after his death, after he was killed with an arrow. The TVs killed him. And that was it. He approached the Middle Belt. They defeated him. They killed as many of his soldiers until they ran back. That's the history. They never conquered the Middle Belt, talking of conquering the Yoruba land. You know what I mean? So where is that pride coming from? Where is that thing that makes you feel like being a Fulani is something over the indigenous people whose history is buried in the land where you see them today? Their ancestors, their bones are still there in their land today. Who the hell is Fodio? Who the hell is Fodio? Where is that supremacy coming from? What are they teaching people in this part of Nigeria that makes them feel like being a Fulani is something superior? And I feel sorry for the Hausas, by the way. Because, yeah, today, the real number one enemy of the Fulanis are the Hausas, who felt so betrayed that they want to fight the war again. If they have their way, not only will they get rid of the emirs, the sultan, they will become history. So there's no supremacy in them. There's nothing about them that makes them kind of like, they are not real warriors. They are not fighters. History only portrayed them as betrayers who stabbed everybody that welcomed them in the back. Again, if you're a Fulani watching me right now, this is not an attack on you. It is just a fact. And you know, facts, something about a fact is that it's always very, very stubborn. There was never a time that they said, we are waging see, after betraying the people that welcomed him into their space, right? After betraying them, the war he tried to fight, they killed him. This was them trying to say, oh, let's advance. Let's go to the Middle Belt. Let's go to this place and capture them as well. He was defeated, destroyed. And then he went on to go and die from the poisoned arrow. He never came back. So the idea of Fulani being anything at all is no other than what the British did in what they considered as a, indirect rule, direct and indirect rule, which also culminated into them being factored into the power formation in that contraption Nigeria. So where is that supremacy coming from? How would anybody feel like being Fulani is superior to being Yoruba because you have a mixed birth? If you are not, you see, with or without you, the Yoruba land that I know of, right? We may have weak men. We may have bastards who are supposed to stand up for Yoruba land despite the position they are holding, but they won't. There are things that will always unite the Yorubas. When they sense a danger where everybody is going to be a fair game, then the Yorubas will kind of like unite, and it is what it is. If Bokwari couldn't get an inch plot of land in Yoruba land for a Fulani terrorist, who the hell are you and your sultan to make you think you push the agenda of Sharia, religious, this and that in Yoruba land? Una know they think. What makes you think that's going to actually really happen? Jihad? Jihad? What the heck are you talking about? Jihad in Yoruba land? Oh yeah, bring it on. You know? And let's see how that goes as well. But unfortunately, right, you are going to need Yoruba bastards to make some certain things work. Unfortunately, right, the bastards in Yoruba land, right, they are so little, so tiny, that except for the noise and for all this attention and what have you that they are trying to kind of like curry, they are irrelevant, they are inconsequential. Because those who are championing the rejection of this your political Sharia, majority of them they are Muslims too. They know the danger, they know the agenda, they know the intention, and they are saying no. So Mr. Kogi jihadist, if you have a chance, maybe you should hire some people from Okun like yourself. Enter the night bus, come to Lagos or any part of Yoruba land. Come and preach your jihad and see those that will first beat you up. They will be your fellow Muslims, because there is nobody that is facing any kind of a religious discrimination in Yoruba land. 100%. So whatever your Satan is pushing, it is only an Omuali, a bastard, a Yoruba bastard, right? That is going to say his own Satan of Shokoto. A Yoruba, a Satan of Shokoto is more relevant, and what do you call it? Is is more powerful than the Oni of Ife or the Alaafin for you. Unfortunately, the Oni of Ife, that one is a disgrace, unfortunately. And we also have some disgraceful elements holding the traditional stools in Yoruba land, like a Diwere, Kilotinpe, that Were from Iwo, Emir of Iwo. Yeah? We have them like that, who have succumbed to some of these degrading, disgraceful sort of ideas. But they can be dealt with. That's something I'm very sure of. They can be dealt with. So maybe you should come down to the south, to the southwest, okay? Okay, whatever your Satan couldn't do, as the president of you Muslims, as you call it, right? So maybe you should come down south and come and preach about that your jihad. Show us your face. Let's see your name. All right? And then we can possibly now show you what it means to be tolerant and what it means not to be tolerant, okay? So we know the inciters, and we know some of you who have been funded to push all these narratives in Yoruba land. But if Bokwari couldn't do it, if he failed with his Ruga, Katu colony, grazing routes, and other nonsense, waterway bills, all the nonsense that they schemed together in order for them to come and share the part of Yoruba land for their Fulani agenda. Now you can be rest assured that your Sharia agenda will be dead before your boss arrives in Yoruba land. I think we should just leave it that way, all right? In Agenebode, in Delta States, right? There was a report of this was yesterday, by the way, Friday. Suddenly, the school children were told to go home simply because the community decided to go after the Fulani terrorists in that axis, who have been, like disrupting and disturbing their peace, So when the school children were told to go home, right, the people of the community banded themselves together and they were going after whether Hausa or Fulani. It wasn't really a good sight to behold, okay? But a lady has something to say about that. Let me show you this.
anywhere latin or anything. Umunede they hot. If you dey inside or if you dey outside, lock yourself inside house. Everybody for Umunede don't like all the old schools where
I don't make some. It is not Aganabode. It is Umunede. Why did they sound so similar? Aganabode. Umunede. It is Umunede, not Aganabode. Aganabode is in Edo State. Umunede, I heard, is in Delta. Let's go back to it.
or anything. Umunede they hot. If you dey inside or if you dey outside, lock yourself inside house. Everybody for Umunede don't like all the old schools where don't Umunede. Everybody don't enter inside house. If I need you, you need to be safe. Where this car where
Umunede at trouble now. Hausa people is creating violence in Umunede. You can see that some schools have shut down. This is Umunede, close to Abo. What is happening in this country? What is happening? Umunede in fire. Hausa people are killing people. They have killed about 7 people in my eyes this morning. You can see that the whole students are running up and down. Go down, go down. Umunede in fire. You can see it. Fire in Umunede. Hey, hey, Hausa people. Fire in Umunede. Hausa people. Hey, Hausa people. You can see everybody is running up and down. Oh my Jesus. God should come to our end in this country called Nigeria. You can see everywhere is turning upside down. You can see it everywhere upside down.
So what thing they happen be say Hausa people they get quarter for Umunede. This our village, so they get quarter and they get mocks. So Hausa or Fulani people they kidnap people where we're for this area. Like they kidnap people. And our neighboring village where they call Mbiri, they go kill 2 boys. They kill them and the boy newly graduates. They kill them finish, so they come there be 3 wey go farm that day. 2 Mbiri boys and 1 Hausa person. So now the Hausa they can't spare the whole Hausa person. That Hausa person where they spare, now you can't come the Mbiri go tell them say the Hausa people kill the boys they inside bush. Now the Mbiri people they can't verse. They can't come Umunede, which is my village, come burn the Hausa quarter. No be Umunede they burn no. Burn the Hausa quarter, burn the mosque where they the Umunede kingdom. As if say that one no finish, then with Mbiri, they still they drag the matter. So I don't want to talk good that side. Waiting really happened today be say those same Fulani people, the other neighboring village after Umunede you reach Ekwama, after Ekwama you reach Igbodo. They can't reach Igbodo, they can't still go kill people yesterday. And I get many videos of people where they kill. I know really they like to they post all those things because not be everything person they post online. So they can't go kill people for Igbodo yesterday. Those Igbodo people now they can't come Umunede, they can't attack those Hausa for that same Hausa quarter for Umunede. Now there this everywhere test scatter where be say Hausa people can't go they run, they enter inside people school where children they can't open gates, everybody can't they run up and down. Most children self some their mothers never see them. Now what thing they happen with that?
Yeah. So they said normally you will see in so many parts of the south, what you will see will be Hausas. Here you get now having Hausa quarters, we call them Sabongeri or so, like Hausa quarters anyway. You will never see Fulani quarters per se. Okay? Because the Fulanis will prefer to stay in the forest. Somehow, stay in the forest. So you see this community, like the lady explained, right? They have been under constant attacks of kidnappers. So when people wanted to take their vengeance on the 2 boys killed and the Hausa boy, spared, so they went straight to the Hausa quarters, attacked the place, burned their mosque, and yeah. Then another person got killed again in another like 2-3 villages away. So all those ones were now coming again to come to the center where they know they will find all the Hausas and Fulanis. So the people who are responsible for kidnapping, most of the time they are the Fulanis. But in the southern part of Nigeria, things have gotten to that stage where Hausa Fulani, right? They are considered same, unfortunately. Even though the victims of the Fulani terrorists up north, they are the Hausas themselves. But down south, it was like they are the same. So which now triggered what happened at Umunede yesterday. So she said it all, you know. But the only thing there is that people have what it takes, right, to resort to the jungle justice in a situation where even if you get to arrest these kidnappers, these terrorists, Fulani terrorists or Fulani kidnappers, they will be released by the system, return them back to the community to go and perpetuate even more crimes. So people have gotten to a stage whereby with all that is going on in that country today, the best thing is for them to resort to self-help, jungle justice. We do not have the exact numbers of people killed so far in that part of Nigeria, Delta State to be precise, right? But the level of the insecurity in that part, you know, Edo State is not even far from Delta as well, right? There's a part of Edo State where the people have become accustomed to being kidnapped and paying ransoms to these Fulani terrorists. It's like, well, there's nothing you can do about it. So just pay them, give them whatever they ask if you want to. Or the only difference between us in this part of Nigeria, the southern part, and them in northern parts is that in some ungoverned areas in northern part of Nigeria, these communities are gathering money to pay taxes to these terrorists. I don't think people have started doing that yet. You know, so it's like you are on your own. So the least people can do then is to resort to self-help in what regard the activities or the breakdown of law and order in Delta State, Umunede yesterday. And that same yesterday, what's this guy's name again? What's his name again? A terrorist. Here is another Fulani terrorist who made a video yesterday. Sorry, I want to try and get his name. Machala Bugaje, that's his name. A terrorist who is as notorious as Bello Turuji, the guy that is so famous for being killed many times and is resurrected many times as well. Bello Turuji. Now is supposed, well, that's how the media presented him anyway. They said his friend it's not like he's working with Bello Turuji, but this Machala Bugaje, he has his own kind of like his own squad, and he's got his own you know, kind of like a territories, okay, where he's been kidnapping and killing the people or keeping the kidnapped victims, collecting ransoms, and he's been living like a king, as many as these Fulani terrorists have taken over the northern part of Nigeria, middle belt part of Nigeria, and undetected and undefeated. So the news was that the guy, he made a video. I'll play you the video now. So the guy made a video by saying that he has renounced terrorism. He is embracing amnesty as been proposed by the government of Zamfara also. That he is now ready to release, as part of the plea bargain, as part of the deal, is now ready to release 50 Nigerians that he kidnapped or that are in his captivity. Baba, terrorists in Nigeria, that's the place where they will tell you that they are rehabilitating terrorists. Nigeria is a place where all the crimes that these criminals are committing, they are not punishable. As long as they can promise and swear by Holy Quran that they will not do it again. Bello Turuji has sworn by the Holy Quran twice in his terrorism career. And he has gone back to even perpetuate even more. He has slaughtered Nigerian soldiers like they are nothing. This Machala guy himself, he has killed more than 50 Nigerian soldiers in his career. But they don't matter, since they can put together this fake, the fake surrender. Machala has surrendered. Oh, that's an achievement for the Nigerian army and all of that. Listen to him. Sorry if you don't understand Hausa, by the way, but somebody else can help me interpret there. Latu, if you are still with us, Milady, you can help me do some justice to this, okay? And if we have a Garba like Celia, if you're around, please also help me do some interpretation. But I'll tell you what he said after this video. Watch this.
Ga mu masoya ne na annabi Muhammadu manzon Allah sallallahu alaihi wa sallam. Tsira da amincin Allah da yarda Allah tabbata ga shugaban mu annabi Muhammadu manzon Allah sallallahu alaihi wa sallam. Tsira da amincin Allah da yarda Allah tabbata ga shugaban mu annabi Muhammadu manzon Allah sallallahu alaihi wa sallam. Tsira da amincin Allah da yarda Allah tabbata ga shugabanmu annabi Muhammadu manzon Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Tsira da amincin Allah da yarda Allah tabbata ga shugabanmu annabi Muhammadu manzon Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Tsira da amincin Allah da yarda Allah ta tabbata ga shugabanmu annabi Muhammadu manzon Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Tsira da amincin Allah da yarda Allah ta tabbata ga shugabanmu annabi Muhammadu manzon Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Tsira da amincin Allah da yarda Allah ta tabbata ga shugabanmu annabi Muhammadu manzon Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Tsira da amincin Allah da yarda Allah ta tabbata ga shugabanmu annabi Muhammadu manzon Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Tsira da amincin Allah da yarda Allah ta tabbata ga shugabanmu annabi Muhammadu manzon Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Tsira da amincin Allah da yarda Allah ta tabbata ga shugabanmu annabi Muhammadu manzon Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Tsira da amincin Allah da yarda Allah ta tabbata ga shugabanmu annabi Muhammadu manzon Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ya Allah muna roƙo ka narke zukatan murin kamna shugabanmu annabi Muhammadu manzon Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ya Allah ka narke zukatan murin kamna annabi Muhammadu manzon Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ya Allah ka narke zukatan murin kamna annabi Muhammadu manzon Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ya Allah tsira da amincin Allah da yarda Allah ta tabbata ga fiyayyen halitta annabi Muhammadu manzon Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ya Allah tsira da amincin Allah da yarda Allah ta tabbata ga fiyayyen halitta annabi Muhammadu manzon Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ya ƴan uwa musulmi ina muku sallama irin ta addinin musulunci. Wannan wanda bai gane shi ba wanda ake ce ma Bellon Bugaje da ku ka talla Bellon Bugaji yanzu ko na ta zama ka talla Bellon Bugaji na koma Zakir Bellon Bugaji. Allahu akbar. Zakir Bellon Bugaji masoyi ne na annabi Muhammadu sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Zakir Bellon Bugaji masoyi ne na annabi Muhammadu sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ni ne wanda na ji tsoron Allah ban ji tsoron duk wani ƙato ba, na ji tsoron Allah ba a yaƙe ni ba, ban gama tsuwa ba abin da ya yaƙe ni, na ji tsoron Allah ina tsoron haɗuwa ta da biyayyen halitta annabi rahama annabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Na ce na basata duniya da lahira na ranci da girman zatin manzon Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Na ce na basata wallahi tallahi Allah wallahi na basata duniya da lahira ina tsoron mahalicci na Allah da halicce ni. Ban ji tsoron duk wani ƙato ba a yaƙe ni ba a bani tsoro ba, ina rike da mutum ya kai sama ga mutum 50 kawai ni ji tsoron mahalicci na Allah da halicce ni. Ni ji tsoron Allah ina tsoron haɗuna da mahalicci na Allah da halicce ni, gobe in ni haɗu da shi ban ga abin da zan faɗa mishi ba. Ni bi na bi Allah sau da ƙafa, na bi Allah na ji tsoron Allah, na bi annabi Muhammadu na ji tsoron Allah, gobe ina tsoron haɗuwa da mahalicin mu Allah da halicce mu, mun bi annabi Muhammadu mu masoya ne na annabi Muhammadu annabi rahama bai san sata mun ba sata, mun bi annabi Muhammadu mun yi garkuwa da mutane sun yi mutum 50 suna hannun mu, mun kaji tsoron mahalicin mu Allah da halicce mu, muka kira ƴan uwansu ta waya mun yi magana da su, wasu mun yi magana da su miliyan 15, wasu mun yi magana da su miliyan 10, miliyan 25. Annan mun kace kai mun ji tsoron mahalicin mu Allah da halicce mu, mun sake su a da horon annabi Muhammad Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam wanda sura Allah akwai mutane a hannun mu mun sake su alfarma annabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam mun yi magana za a kawo mana kuɗi miliyan 15 wasu miliyan 10 miliyan 25 mun ji tsoron Allah mun ji annabi Muhammad Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mun sake su alfarma annabi Muhammad Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam duk gane nan ga baba ina nan cikin ku
ẹni òfò ni ẹ ṣòfò láyé ẹ tún sí lálìkìyàmà ẹ̀yin rádaràda wọ̀nyí.
Yeah, sorry about that. Like, I know it don't do. Now, person where they talk say don't surrender be that all. You see all their weapons. Eh? Well, their media and the Nigerian army and the rest of them, they are kind of like ruling it as an achievement. An achievement that a terrorist made a video, a 5-minute video, to praise Allah, praise Muhammad, and all of that stuff for all his criminality. And then he promised to release 50 of his victims as part of the bargaining chip for a peaceful passage into enjoying whatever is made from killing and kidnapping people, collecting ransoms, and they are, that is a Nigeria for you. And that is why the war on terror is not really a war. It is just a kind of like an exercise to make it look more or less like they are fighting terrorists, and then justify every money they are getting, or the one they are budgeting, or the one they are donating to them. In my own opinion, terrorists who have committed crimes against Nigerians are never to be pardoned, not in this manner. Especially what they have done to the Nigerian supposed economy, destroying Nigerian source of food production, killed farmers, destroyed the farms, destroyed villages, killed women, killed children, and done all kind of other atrocities that are pure terrorism. So nobody should be pardoning them, but because the terrorists, their sponsor, and those in government, they are all in the same WhatsApp group, unfortunately, right? Rather, they were going to be working on how to placate them, how to make them comfortable, and the rest of us continue to bleed. See, if these guys who have killed so many Nigerian soldiers, if there's anything that is meant for them, if there's anything at all that Nigeria has for them, it should be a death sentence. There's nothing called amnesty for terrorists of this kind. There should never have been. Unfortunately, those who are sponsoring them are those in governments, unfortunately. And that is why they will continue to use all kind of, trick in the book, okay, to keep tolerating them by offering amnesty to terrorists. And I've never seen it anywhere in the world where amnesty are offered to terrorists. I've never seen any. And I have not also seen anywhere amnesty offered to a warring faction, and yet the fight subside. Failed to subside, which means the money that they are giving to these terrorists, as well as the state sort of a cover-up that these guys are enjoying, where tens of thousands of them have been reportedly surrendered. Yet the terrorism in that contraption continues. It continues to wax stronger and stronger, rather than for it to keep dying and dying. If you have thousands of fighters, and suddenly you have over 200,000 that surrendered, shouldn't that have been the end of the terrorism in that northern Nigeria? Is that not enough to say, okay, amnesty is working? This amnesty for terrorists is working. Over 200,000 of them have surrendered. So now the terrorists don't even have any fighters on their side anymore, because it's all lies. They are now recruiting. Lakurawa is recruiting fighters for 1.5 million naira. I'm not doing advert for them. I'm just saying. Lakurawa, now 1.5 million that they recruit people. you better don't do any stupid calculation. You are just going to be a cannon fodder. They already have those that are doing the recruitment for them. They have all these northern clerics who are preparing some of these young alimajiris to become recruited. I mean, to be recruited by these terrorists. And they will do it. I mean, you know, the clerics who collect the recruitment money, not making it up, just kind of using my imagination in this regard, because the level of out-of-school children in northern Nigeria, or even those ones who are not just out of school, they've been out of school all their lives, no skill, no education, no nothing, and they have to survive. So they have the recruitment markets for these terrorists up north. Even Tinubu that promised to come back and construct to recruit 50 million youth is yet to fulfill that.
And we are competing with armed robbers and the bandits to recruit from the youths who are unemployed. 33% unemployed. Recruit 50 million youths into the army and the other thing. Take away from their recruitment source. What they will eat? Cassava, agbado, corn in the morning, yam in the afternoon. It's growing here. You create demand and consumption. For over 5 million army of boot camps. We create our food. I mean, that's money for the farmers. That's consumption for the soldiers and skill development. Don't call them illiterate. Don't talk about illiteracy. Anybody who can own gun, who can handle gun, who can cock gun and clean the chamber and cock and shoot is technically competent to repair a tractor in the farm.
70 years old man.
Call you. So the recruitment sort of market for these terrorists up north, all right, is booming. And that is why the acclaimed repentant terrorists, the effect of that has never been felt, because it's all ruse, it's all fake, unfortunately. So that guy, Machala Bugaje, will be paid some money. He will cease kidnapping, maybe for a week or two. Then after that, he will go back to his livelihood. You don't know why they shouldn't be forgiving any terrorist in that contraption. Do you know how much money these guys were making from kidnapping people with no consequences? Ragtag criminals, Fulani terrorists, they will kidnap people and they will collect 100 million naira, 200 million naira as ransom. Now you bring them to a camp and claim to have pardoned them. You want to rehabilitate them. So now you are giving them how much? 30,000 naira. And you said you are teaching them how to repair what? To repair tractor in the farm. I don't know. So to pay them how much every month? 100,000 naira. So at the end of the day, they will have to kind of be like, you know what, wait a minute this. According to some of them who returned back to crime, they said they were making enough money, good money. They have no law guiding them. They have nobody to be afraid of. They are not worried about anybody. They were living free. When they sold them the idea of amnesty, only for them to join this amnesty, and now they are hungry, that they have to go back to their way of terrorism. That's why you don't pardon them. The only place they belong to is a place that is going to facilitate their passage to the world beyond. If they are promised 72 virgins because of their jihad, so it is none of your own business. You put them through a process whereby they can easily meet their virgins. As soon as possible, it's going to be between them and their creator. You don't pardon them, but because those who are putting this together, they are also their sponsor. And yeah, that's a lot of money that you can probably say you are spending your security vote on. So money-making machine for them. Terrorists who have that kind of weapon, war weapons, are treated with so much levity in a corrupt system that puts all our lives in danger. All our lives in danger. Don't ever forget that. Yeah. And then now we saw this microphone leaking in Tinubu in Tanzania just 2 days or so ago before he returned back to Nigeria. And guess what? Pastor Ruga was there. That's the microphone leaking also called Tinubu, by the way. So we saw him with Pastor Ruga 2 days ago. You know, it's kind of like a moment anyway. So I have a copy of that, I think. I'll show you.
Your old friend. The old pastor. Okay, is this the Nigerian mafia over here? Let's organize it. Yes.
That was it with Kolu in Tanzania. And the other guy, Dele Alakori, who is your minister for solid minerals. Yeah, you know, you don't see much of him. That's the place is kind of like making his own kill. They promised to give him his own security. Remember, Dele Alakori had his own army, kind of, so that he will be able to provide, off-the-record security for the illegal miners in Nigeria as long as they cut him a deal. They've cut one with Macron in France, right? But we have no idea how many others who are currently in Nigeria mining different kind of resources, like illegally. But since Dele Alakori will be the one to say it is legal, it is not, right? So it was seen with Dajaguda, the former Jigawa governor, who is now your Minister of Defense, talking about defense.
I've received very, very warm and robust cooperation from him and from the Minister of Defense, all centered around the development of our minerals in Nigeria. And we have been marketing this mineral sector in the last 1.5 years, and we are recording, very beneficial responses, even from the big players in the industry outside Nigeria. And believe me, Mr. President is happy with the steps we are taking so far and the results that are manifested for the benefit of Nigeria. And we are going to do. I've received
Nuisance Lele.
For the benefit of Nigeria. Ask Dele Alakori how much has been, you know that tons, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of tons of your resources have been illegally mined and they are being ferried out of Nigeria every day. Well, when you ask them, how much have you made from the solid mineral sector? I remember him saying something like they have made $2 million or something like that. I can't remember. I think, is it $2 million or $20 million? You know, the usual way of them just dropping numbers that you don't have to prove anything to you. Nigeria, mineral-rich country. So that was him with the Nasarawa governor, as well as the Jaguda of Jigawa, who is now a Minister of Defense, Badru. All right? So everyone expected Tinubu to put Dele Alakori in charge of information, but they're like, no, disappointed because the guy want to make his money. I don't want to be information about mineral resources, and it's everywhere. He was with Tinubu, where they went on to sign this MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, with Macron for what they call unique mineral resources or something like that to be given to the French businesses in Nigeria, in northern Nigeria, to start with. Fair enough, they are not really touching a lot of stuff in the southern part of Nigeria, except the ones they are already tapping, by the way. You know, that was Dele Alakori. The other guy, Tinubu's tax collector, was also kind of stopped by journalists earlier. I think it was yesterday as well. I can't remember his name, right? I think I do remember his name, but it doesn't really matter. So he was talking about something here, and I want to share that with you as well. Listen to this on your economy.
Okay, thank you very much for your question. If you listen to what we've said last year, we have the target of 19.4 trillion through focused leadership and collective effort of all members of the staff. We collect 21.7 trillion, as you've seen in what we've presented. So based on that, for 2025, we have 25 trillion. If you look at our antecedents, we are a data-driven organization, and tax collection is intelligence gathering. So based on what we know and the conducive environment that Mr. President has given to the business in anticipation of even the passing of our tax reform bill that will make environment more conducive for all the taxpayers. So we are confident with the professionalism of our staff that we'll be able to achieve 25 trillion that we've committed.
So how do you intend to block leakages this year, different from other strategies?
You've seen in our strategic roadmap that we focus more on training, using of technology, and have conducive environment. So when we have this, blocking of leakages comes from having implementable laws. Because why you see people going away with our revenue is because there are lapses in the law. And in the wisdom of Mr. President, we send a bill to National Assembly. Hopefully, the bill will be passed this quarter. So it is our strategy to block all identified loopholes and the use of technology.
What should taxpayers expect this 2025, sir?
No, they should expect better service, like we've said, and we've seen that trajectory from us, that we are service provider. Taxpayers are our customer. So we provide service to them. We collect money from them. So Mr. President's mind, our decision, is to make sure that the taxpayer have conducive environment to do their business, because it is when they are prosperous that we will also have something to do. Don't forget, Mr. President's mantra is that he will not tax poverty, it's only prosperity. We focus on income, not your own investment. And then we only focus on returns from that investment. So we are not there to tax poverty. So they should expect the cooperation from us this year. And then we look forward to achieving these wonderful targets that we have.
Yeah. So they are targeting 25 trillion naira as money they will collect. And since they are just collectors, right? Who brags about IGR, but they never brag about investing the same IGR on your development, okay? Normally, right, if you have so much, if you are to make so much money from taxes, right, it simply means you have to invest the money in the people as well, in the infrastructures that kind of like will help boost their business. These ones don't care about all of that, What they care about is how much they can take from you, all right? And then they go to the media to celebrate it. That remember that we plan to generate, to take 19 trillion. Then we ended up taking 21 trillion. See? So what did you do with the 21 trillion? Well, our job is to collect. We are not the ones to do something. You can go and ask the people that are supposed to do something. Anyway, I saw that on the side and I was going to share that with you. Now, going forward again, there is this kind of like, I don't know if I should call it a protest, right? It happened in Owerri, in Imo State. So they said that the state high court is vibrating, is shaking. I'll show you the picture, but let me show you the video first.
I phone touch him when I touch your phone, man, who got that name. So there's no light there.
And I was reliably informed that as of yesterday, while one of the courts was sitting, the building was vibrating. I have made call to the Chief Registrar of the High Court to confirm if the story is correct. And she confirmed that the Honorable Milord Onyuku informed her of the incident. And I also had this morning from another judge that 2 days ago, same happened while the court was sitting. And this issue has been lingering. Even before this building was put in use, there were a lot of complaints about the structural defects in the building. And we complained and nothing happened. As our last 2 weeks, when the governor had a media chat, I informed the governor that this building is in bad shape. The governor confirmed that he had received that complaint and that he will be sending engineers to come and do an integrity test on the building. But up to today, nothing has happened. We cannot risk our life in the name of going to court. So we are saying for now we should suspend, at least for 1 week, the use of this building until the proper thing is done. What is the proper thing to be done? Let experts come and certify that this building is fit for use. We cannot risk our life, like I've said before. 1 week will not kill us. Let us suspend activities in this particular building until that is done. We are giving this warning. Let it be on record that Nigerian Bar Association of Owerri branch has warned lawyers and litigants that it is risky using this building as it is now. That is why we are complaining that a chief judge should be appointed for Imo State Judiciary. Yes. A situation where we don't have a chief judge going to 3 months now is not acceptable. Yes, sir. Let all well-meaning Imolai say something about this. We cannot remain like this. The authorities know that it is not good for an arm of the government to remain without a leader. And that is what is causing all this problem. Who do you complain to? There are a lot of things to complain. You cannot walk through this staircase during the day without your torchlight. Yes. Everywhere is dark. We've complained that there should be rechargeable light on the staircase. Judges are not sitting. Judges will rise because they don't have light to sit. No ventilation. You remove your wig and gown because there is no fan. Nothing is working. So this building for now is unsafe. And that is the position of the bar. Is that our position? Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Defective building, which can also lead to a bigger catastrophe if nothing is done. Take a look at the building in question. That's the building. The Imo State High Court. It's got structural defects, and the NBA in Owerri decided to go on a 1 week kind of like warning strike. Okay, so that is that. Fun pictures. I have these 2 pictures, right? These were the guys who are meeting to build an opposition to Tinubu. Okay. Now, what do you see on your screen? You have Kayode Fayemi, a Tinubu's bagman. You have Atiku. I don't know this guy in blue. but the guy behind him is Malamun, the former Attorney General of Nigeria. These are the guys who are grouping together to form a coalition to remove Tinubu. And take a look at this picture. Here is a Peter Obi. Here is a Fayewan. And there you have him again, Malamun. So these are now the emergency lovers of Nigeria to save all of you from Tinubu. As if to say, you see, when you see this Obi and the Fayewan, it gives you the vibes of, remember, the vibes of Joyo Kwigbe, right? So, which means if these are the faces behind their planned coalition, then you have a very good, what do you call it? You should have a very good projection that Tinubu is involved. The Fayewan stepped down. If you remember, he also stepped down for Tinubu during that their APC, Egbekegbe's presidential primaries, remember? Right. I just thought I should put that in your, on your faces to see as it is. On the other parts, the leaders of tomorrow are busy like this. Our leaders of tomorrow. So go to see tomorrow, man. No, we'll just forget that. Tomorrow, wow. Anyway, finally, I saw this as well in Lagos, where it is believed that deliberately the road sign that she said this is one way, this is BRT lane, they have been deliberately removed so that any violator can be extorted, and a lady put up a fight in what is now an investigation situation or something like that. Watch.
I was not in charity lane, no. I was not in charity lane. We've not entered charity lane. I'm begging you. I'm begging you. I use my woman in use my person. What is my this person cannot know my motto. I will die, I'm recording. Nigeria to help me. I'm begging the one Nigeria to help me. This my mother cannot go anywhere. So there is graduation for Caleb University. The one Nigeria know. The one Nigeria know. Okay, you wicked. Okay, you wicked. It's not the meaning of convocation. You know the meaning of convocation. I'm recording. I'm recording. Okay, you wicked. Okay, you guys. I'm begging, I'm begging. I'm begging. This matter cannot live here. I'm not in charity lane, no. I'm begging them to free me from my daughter's convocation. My daughter's convocation is today. For Caleb University. What is my offense that cannot be forgiven? Nigeria, what is my offense? What is my offense? What is my offense that cannot be forgiven? One old man is there. It's painful now. No. I'll be begging them. I'll be begging them. What is my offense? What is my offense? What is my offense? I'm trying. Sir, let me be honest.
I don't know what to say other than if a road is one way or bus lane. In my own opinion, there should be a kind of like, mechanism put in place, right? That one doesn't really have to have contacts with extortionists, okay? And you don't have to take anybody's car. You know, what you have to do is that once you take their plate numbers, right? And that's it, wherever it is defined, you send it to them and you find them. Are your cars not registered to your addresses? Like, this whole thing is not a rocket science. We all understand. You see the reason why she's begging, hey Joe, please, forgive me, and all of that stuff. It's because those who are going to tow a car, right, they will make a problem compounded. Their intention will be to extort her, and then they will make her pay for the towing vehicle. Why are you towing her? Take a number, a registration number. Then send a letter to her of what she's committed. And give her a room to defend herself. In most cases, people just pay the fine and move on. And if she feels like she didn't do anything wrong, you have the mechanism, you have this image capture, right? Number capture, and it has already captured her in there on that lane. Then she doesn't have to have any contact with all these guys on the roadside who are just there. You know, imagine those ones who are doing towing vehicle. I remember when I was still in Nigeria, right? So you have the people doing towing vehicle. Their job is to tow any car that breaks down on the road in order to clear the traffic. But in most cases, right, some of them are working with, FRSC, or so what do you call those ones? Federal Road Safety Corps, right? So that if they, or last mile, sure you get, so that if they have any car that they want to impound, okay, so this towing vehicle will be there, sharp, to tow you to the office. So now, when you bail your car, you have to also pay the towing vehicle. Who is going to charge you thousands of money for towing your car? It's that crazy, you know? But that's what I would do. But I mean, it is Nigeria. They will say, "Oh, Maiyegun, Nigeria long baby." It is always using abnormalities to try to turn it into anything normal. Nothing is normal in that place. So just do your best never to be a victim is the advice that you will be given. So I think I should draw my curtains here. I want to take calls. Do you think we're up for that? You know? So I am going to take a short break. Right? And if I come back, when I come back, if the line still kind of like works, right? Then we can have a chat around the conversation we've had there today, or this evening rather, okay? And yes, if you have anything you want to add or, to this, you would have your own shots when I come back. The number is right there on your screen. Happy New Month, brethren. And if you have to go as well, remember, like the broadcast, okay? That may be the only thing you haven't done. And then share it as well. I will be back in a minute or two. Don't go anywhere. Somebody said that nobody has address in Nigeria. You lie. So if you have no address in Nigeria, wait, where do you actually register your cars? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you buy a car right now, does that mean that you don't have address? Your car is registered somewhere. Your driver license is registered somewhere. That plate number in your car is registered somewhere. Shebi? Hello there.
Good evening, Maiyegun.
Good evening, Baba. How are you, man?
If you think you don't have address, I think they just need to buttress support. If anyone thinks they don't have an address in Nigeria, they should get into the hands of the law.
You get,
and they will,
now then you go know, so you get address.
they will even trace you to your father's compound.
Yes,
as long as they know your name, and that's the truth. It's just that they are not using those information for the good things.
Here you get. So I still believe that addresses, your properties are registered to an address.
Exactly.
So you have to put down an address. Here you get.
Maybe
you want to get a passport. You have to put down an address.
Maybe if you don't have a mobile footprint, or your family name or surname is not traceable, you did not attend a school in your life, then you can say you don't have any. If you misbehave in that country, anybody can be picked up. That's just the truth. It's just they're using it for the wrong things. I just quickly want to add to when you said the Kanuris fought the Fulanis, and that's the truth.
Yes, sir.
I think you need to dedicate a time to really talk on this issue of Fulani Kanuri fight. You see, the Kanuris were already under the Kanem Borno Empire, and they were more like subservient to the Turkish. So part of that war with the Fulanis, the Kanuris were using Turkish ammunition to fight the Fulanis. And that's why even till today, Kanuri man will tell you that the Fulanis did not teach them Islam, because they've been dealing the Kanuris under the Kanem Borno.
Now, like all this idea of Fulani, this and that, but we'll tell ourselves the truth now. So many other parts of Nigeria, they have had these contacts with the Arabs. They have had Islam in some of these places even before this Fulani. That's why they said that even Hausa have had Islam before them. That's why Danfodio said, their ways of practicing Islam was wrong. That's why they had to kill them now.
So even with the Yorubas, we've already had contacts with Islam because the Fulanis.
The Fulani who are now going to be the ones to be the They are now going to be the one to be the decider of how Islam should be.
Then another thing that's happening in northern Nigeria, another thing happening in northern Nigeria, and it's high time people who have been marginalized in that space speaks out. In places like University of Maiduguri or University of Kano or any other university, the only university spared of this is University of Jos. If your name is not Abdullahi Mohammed, maybe Al Kanuri or Al Kano, there are some certain departments you will not be given admission.
Right.
Let them come out and say it. In fact, if you are a Christian in some northern northern universities, it's more like you are not guaranteed the first class, no matter how brilliant you are. I've had colleagues that have had scholarships to European countries, and when we speak, that's what they tell you. If you want to know the atrocities being meted on Christians or non-Muslims in northern Nigeria, ask the university students that
you should be digging into what you just said right
now.
You see, in the Middle Belt, right? The Middle Belters. That what is his name again? Ahmadu Bello, right?
Yes.
He treated them with so much disdain, right? The biggest part of that place is the biggest part of Nigeria. Sure you get. And he treated them to the point that when it goes to when they were like this the Northern House of Assembly, right? And people have to be represented in there, right? The entire Middle Belt part of Nigeria, he only by fight, he only gave them about 2 seats. Just two. And before he finally agreed, this is a man that singularly decided that, right? Because to him, they have been represented already by the Arewa, you know, like we have represented them. They don't need any representatives. Can you get me now?
Exactly.
And that is the exact way they also treated them when it comes to development. Long story. That's why if you see anybody from that middle belt part, which they called North Central, you are from Kogi. But then they treated them like piece of shit for real. Historically.
Yes.
And somebody will look up and say Sultan is their king. I was like, God damn it.
Under our context, you know. Then another thing is there's something happening in the north also. The same people bearing the same surname, as long as one is not a Muslim among them, they don't even see that person as a relative. This is from a colleague of mine who went to serve in Nasarawa State. For him, he stayed over in Nasarawa State, and he's saying family for them is religion. Family is not by blood. So let's say you are Badero Uncle Maiyegun and I'm Badero, let's say Toby. As long as Badero Uncle Maiyegun is a Muslim and Badero Pego is maybe Onukunuko.
So to you are not my family. That means so to me,
I'm not your family. Exactly.
Let's say I am Alaji Maiyegun.
Exactly.
And you are Deacon Toby Loba. And
exactly.
we are both Badero. So I should be more at home with Abdullahi Sokoto as my family than I should relate to you.
Exactly. So now what's now happening in some part of the north is the Christian pastors is give birth to more children so that we know that we are not practicing polygamy like the northern counterparts. We can have more children just to always balance the population. Have you seen what religion is causing in that space? But nobody's talking about these things. The northern Christians know that they don't have the the ability maybe to practice polygamy. So you now have a northern Christian woman who is ready to give birth to also 7 children or 8 children, just to balance the population of that northern man into polygamy, who can marry 4 and maybe have 4 children from one wife. So the ladies who are Christian in that space are ready to give birth as much as possible to balance the equation. So
that's how they have been like a
religious divide
back and forth and
exactly.
All that.
There is religious divide. There is what we call like social divide in terms of family relationship, and this affecting even the economy. People, how they recruit people either to the universities, to the civil service, in
So
every aspect of their life.
That kind of like a caste system.
Exactly. You know, and that's what you want to bring to Yoruba land, where maybe my uncle is a Gunuko man. In fact, where I come from, I have an uncle who is a Gunuko man. Another one is an Egun person. Another one is doing his normal Uru. My father is a Christian. My mother came from a background of people who practice voodoo religion. I'm from Lagos. So the question is, will you now bring this your own version of Islam, who is ready to cut off your father's head because you feel you are superior to, closer to God than every other person? My father's sister my father's sister is married to a Muslim. So why are you going? So should I now, because of that, not respect her as my aunt?
And then you are beginning to say that Muslims are oppressed in Yoruba land. Where?
When my grandfather died, the Gunukos came, the the Zangbetos came, the Oros did their own right. Everybody. So you want me to now say because my grandfather maybe is not a Muslim, or he's more of a religious syncretic person, I should now disrespect him because he does not believe in my own version of Christianity? So
it's going to be a tough one for them if Bukwari couldn't do it.
That's just the truth. And it's high time they understand this. There is nobody in the Southwest. There is nobody in the Southwest who does not have a family from other faiths. No matter how RGCC you are, no matter how Catholic you are, no matter how Islam which you will have a direct family member who is not of your faith. So what are you going to do with them? Are you going to not respect them again because you see your uncle now, instead of greeting your uncle, you say, okay, it's not my religion, then you just avoid them, break family ties. So
the idea is already defeated. They just don't know how to push it, okay?
And I think it's high time they understand that that's how the Southwesterners. I think people, our colleagues from the South and Southeast, have a more they don't really have this problem because they don't have a major Islamic population, so they don't really. But for us in the Southwest, we understand this, and it's something that we just need to be careful about,
They will have a lot of offset to contend with, man.
So do they mean that if I thank you very much?
God bless you,
thank you.
You have a very good one, okay? So it's very simple, okay? Religious crisis or religious division in Yoruba land, it's going to be a lose-lose game for them. If they are hiding under their Muslim tickets to push this kind of agenda, well, they better actually send their best, not some charlatans or miscreants, okay, who are foaming in the mouth, right? Or gaslighting us. They would have to do more than that. Hello there. Yeah, Baba.
Hello.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir. Fine, sir.
Good evening to you. How are you doing?
Actually, this man. I'm good. I'm calling from Nigeria. My name is Biggie. I'm calling from Nigeria.
I'll keep to Biggie. How are you doing tonight, Biggie?
I'm good. I've been following you since the year 2020. I've been following you.
Bless you.
Honestly speaking, I've been following you.
Thank you.
So, quick one.
Yes,
Maiyegun, I'm from the Omnede. Where that thing really happened?
God bless you. You are from Omnede, right?
You know our problem.
Please.
Yes. Actually, yes, they injured my brother from the hand. Yes, he got injured in hand.
Share
our problem.
Go on.
Yes. Our problem is that we are want to be one Nigerianist. That is our problem. You understand? We don't want to accept the fact that we are partly Igbo. You understand? These people have been terrorizing us. When as at December here, when we want to do a burial, we want for farm. You understand?
Right.
To pick some firewood for the burial. They kidnapped one of my brother. One of my brother that came for the burial. We spent close to 1.something million naira to bail him. At the end, the burial. Yes. So the burial couldn't hold water because the money, the tension. So we hold the burial, but it couldn't hold water. You understand?
I'm with you.
So yes, and you know our problem again.
What?
Most of our people, our kinsmen that are supposed to talk, are into cow business. You understand? So they're into cow business. So it's difficult for them now to take action because they're into cow business, and most of those Fulani people are the one helping them in managing those cows, and they're taking advantage of that.
Yeah. Do you know, Biggie? That is one of the reasons, right? Why the idea of stopping the cow movement in the South, right, became complicated. Because for example, there are some places, right, where you see all these cows, right? They are owned by the people, like they are owned by the politicians, traditional rulers, and some other individuals who went to northern Nigeria to hire Fulanis, because the idea of owning these cows, the better way to manage it is to have a Fulani, and they have no ranches, they have no place to keep them. So the Fulanis just moved them all about.
No.
But you know, the difference is that the difference we later found was that you see those ones, okay, they can be easily recognized than the ones who are carrying AK-47, because you see these ones don't really carry weapons. When you look at the local ones, they don't really carry weapons.
Yes, but the one that attacked my brothers in the farm carried weapons.
Yeah, that's the difference. But it took time. It took time for people to differentiate between them. But those ones who were destroying people's farms back then, right? They were most of the cows in the southern part of Nigeria, 80% of them are owned by the people in the south. Royal fathers, traditional rulers, politicians.
Exactly.
But go on. Continue with that, your story.
Exactly. So, so when we go for complaining, that they are killing us, so they are fighting us, they are terrorizing our farms. So you understand? They will dive the matter.
Yep.
Even when they killed someone, they will dive the matter. It was terrible that day. Everybody ran for their life because this community that came to our town, because our town is where these Muslims they do, that's their kind of their headquarters. But the people those who community attack are not the real people. They just conclude since they are outsiders, which means they are the ones doing all those things. Not knowing fully well that the real Fulani people that are doing it, they live in the bush. They don't come out. You understand? They don't come out. You understand? They don't come out.
Because you see those ones who are doing these kidnappings, right? They are mostly those ones who have and guess what? There is a belief that you see those ones who are even doing the kidnappings in the south. Most of them, it is believed though that they are invited by the ones who are already in the community, helping these local cow owners to manage their cows. They are the ones who invite them over. Tell them about the entire area. You know what I mean now? All these information are out there. But unfortunately, those who are supposed to act on them, right? They are just not interested.
Yeah. Yes, because of their selfish interest, undermining their people. So, Maiyegun, God bless you. God bless you in whatever you do. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
Yes, Maiyegun. Do you know that my second name, what people used to call me, is Maiyegun?
Really?
You understand?
Why?
Maiyegun. I'm telling you, even at my workplace, Maiyegun, everywhere. Even sometimes if I want to call my brother, if I want to call him now, Maiyegun, then they will bust up. So, sorry. That's to tell you how dedicated I am. Maiyegun, God bless you. God bless you everywhere. God bless you.
Stay safe, okay? And take it easy over there, man. All right. God bless you.
All right.
Yeah. So it is a pleasure, by the way, speaking to Biggie. I do have a lot of the members of the temple in Nigeria, I have to be honest, okay? So I have about 1 million listeners in a month, every 28 days. I have between, this is just like the slow time though, right? I have between 800,000 and 1 million listeners every month on this platform. And guess what? 27 to 28% of that are always from the US, from America. The next after that is 25% of my listeners, right? They are in Nigeria, meaning every month, averagely, I have between 250,000 and 400,000 listeners in Nigeria alone. Okay, so yes, I do know where some of us are, and I appreciate everyone's time. It's been a while. Here is another caller, though. Hello.
Hello there, Maiyegun.
Baba, how are you, sir?
I'm not talking about speaking.
Oh,
I'm fine.
That's a talks. Happy New Year.
Yeah. Same to you, and happy birthday as well.
Thank you so much, Baba. I know. Thank you. Yeah, talks.
I don't really know. I don't have much to say, but I'm addressing what every other person has said. When I first came on your program, I told you Nigeria is battling a serious religious war, and we have an identity crisis. I'm first a Yoruba man before I'm a Christian or Muslim or whatever. I'm first a Yoruba man. Even before all this Islam and Christianity came, we had cultures and traditions that we're using in our land that was making us prosper. The foreigners brought in all this religion, And it's literally dismantled our identity. We don't know what we're doing anymore. If you're a Muslim and you have a Muslim problem,
in causing religious crisis in Yoruba land, what is the motive?
I don't
Yorubas
know.
have Muslims, Christians, and others, and we don't even have any issue with that. But suddenly, some people who are not even from Yoruba land, right? They are saying the Yoruba Muslims have been oppressed. I was like, are you mad, Dini?
I mean, it's just crazy. I see all those bed sheet wearing people. That is not your culture or tradition. You're taking another man's another culture to bring it to your own culture. You don't have identity crisis. You don't know what they're doing. They open their mouth and form from the mouth and say all sorts of rubbish. It doesn't make any sense. It's like somebody was saying the other day that why is it that Muslims pray in Arabic? Because they were forced to learn Arabic, because that's the only thing they can do. Go to all these madrasas and say their children there to learn Islam. It's crazy. It just doesn't make sense. If they drop all this their religious nonsense in that Nigeria and let everybody go their ways, believe you me, we'll all settle down. I don't know the culture and tradition of Hausa man. I partly know the ones of the Igbos because I've got tons of Igbo friends. But at the end of the day, we're not the same people. If I'm in the midst of an Igbo setting now, they're speaking their language. I can't understand them. But there's no in Yoruba that I will not understand their language. I can't go up and say, I've seen that in the midst of Hausa people, and they're talking. They might be trying to kill you. You don't even know, and you'll be laughing with them, and they're trying to kill you. You don't understand the language. You don't understand the culture. That's why we have this huge amount of identity crisis. With religion put into place again, people have lost their senses. They don't know what they're doing anymore. The Muslims always think that the Christians are fighting them. The Muslims always want to feel that they are superior to the Christians and everybody else. I mean, how can they calling people infidel? Who gives them the right to call someone an infidel? On what planet? It makes absolutely no sense. And it's a shame that we find ourselves in this situation now that everybody has lost their identity completely.
People who have not been treating themselves based on religion are now their targets. The Yorubas.
Yes.
Yes. We
and the traditionalists,
ourselves anyhow because of religion. Never. I didn't grow up to see that.
Yeah.
But now we are the targets. Because they
the traditionalists have even kept themselves more sacred than the Christians are Muslims.
More aggressive than they are right now. They should not be tolerating all these things like it is in the South.
What's the Nigeria? They always think Nigeria is a Muslim country. It's not a Muslim country. It's a secular nation. If they have not got all these
to be a secular nation, talks, but we cannot tell that with what they with them listing Nigeria as an Islamic republic. As a member of OIC, Organized Islamic Countries, or Organization of Islamic Countries, or something like that. So there are other Islamic countries who kind of sees Nigeria as an Islamic country. So it seems that the transition is taking forever, and now they want to accelerate it. That whether we like it or not, Nigeria is an Islamic country. It is you and I who know that's not true. That's not real. But
I would just say that that's their prerogative. They know they won't have it in Yoruba land. That's the truth. It's not going to come down there. And when the pushback comes, it's like I was saying again, people have lost their identity. They have their brains have completely gone out of the brain. Did you see that video of that man going to Mecca and shouting $9 billion, $9 billion? Like, is that religion? That's madness. But where's the $9 billion going to come from? From where? Which bank? And you're not walking towards it. It's something I see online. You see people say, "Oh, like this message if you want to receive breakthrough." It's a breakthrough from where? If you don't get to my one, where will the breakthrough come from? You're one that brings it down to your side here. Look at how they're living their life here. They're in clubs tonight. You are going to go do praise and worship tomorrow morning. On what? Apollo. It's a shame. My God, honestly, I don't know. Like the other guy said, it might be the time for you to address things like all that full and the big girls and all that kind of stuff.
We'll keep hammering on it, all right? It is so important that people need to understand that they cannot be gaslighted. And don't let anybody kind of like use religion the way we have seen it played out in northern part of Nigeria. It cannot be used in Yoruba land. And yes,
my God, I lost faith in religion just before COVID. Right. And I'm glad I did. I'm more spiritual now than a Christian or Muslim. I was born a Christian. I'm more spiritual now. Because I think spirituality is the best way to go about it. Because you have nothing. I mean, the Muslim man and the Christian man they are the same human beings. They're just the stupid matches. They're following the same God. They're following the same God. And everybody else is following. I know. So I will let you have a good evening, my brother. Have a good and wonderful birthday.
Sorry, you have a very wonderful evening yourself. All right. Thank you very much, Baba. So I have another caller, and I bet this is Prince Adebayo from Sweden. The Prince.
My king. My king.
How are you, Baba?
I greet you, my king. I'm good. I'm good, my king. Today, the place that caught my eyes in your wonderful presentation was where that woman was crying. That car looks semi-new. That car doesn't look like a poor car, but the way that woman was crying, she was crying because she knows that before that car will come out, something will leave her purse.
You get?
You know?
In this
something will, in this Tinubu, you know that she cannot, because those people there, Nigeria is a rent-seeking state. And depending on where you find yourself in any given day, you might pay up to 3, 4, 5 different rents. Unless you know how to waka. If you drive motor past the wrong place, you will pay rent.
Yes, sir.
If the government remember you have house on one place where they have decided to demolish, don't go with that. They don't cut you with that. You know, depending on where you find yourself in that country, you pay rent. This one that we are good, they are saying they are bringing these people to come and mine solid minerals. Those people where they go pay rent higher.
Eventually.
This Nigeria is not for us. It's not. It is designed so that there will be so many loopholes, so that no matter how many English you speak, you will still pay rent.
You will explain tire.
You will explain tire. No evidence. No, how you want to explain? So people come here and they discuss Nigeria like Nigeria is one organized setting. Nigeria is just a pre-fool. It is not. There's no planning. That's why from year to year, the government will come and yes, they will come and say blah 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 blah. We'll do this year, this year, this year. If you look from A to Z, no electricity, no road, no rail network. Then they will be talking about technology.
Yeah.
In that country where
with Google.
AI.
What are you talking about?
This is scatter my head. This is scatter my head. In a country where they just release Pharaoh to me, that they just put Pharaoh to me, drag him into this thing with 1 year excuse. You are talking about your right. Baba, that woman, I just pity that woman because the cry. What she's crying for is not that they are stealing her car, but before that car will come out, she must pay. And that's what happening everywhere. They will steal that.
Anything at all. That's why
beyond, you know.
There is a system. For example, right now, if I have to drive on a bus lane, for example, I know the consequence of that. So I'll likely get fined maybe £80, and then I will be given to pay half. If also so, or if I don't, then I have to pay the full money. If I feel like I don't have the money, I can easily just go to the tribunal to defend why I found myself on the bus lane and tell them my financial situation. And then they will give me money. If I'm able to convince them, they'll give me money and say, go. Don't do that again. But Nigeria is the person that want to abuse you. They want to pretend he's already calculating his own wahala on you.
His own daily takings.
So you get. So he's thinking about his bosses in the office. He's thinking about his family at home. And there you are. Whatever you are going through, he's there to say F100,000. What, sir?
Exactly.
F100,000. Exactly. 100,000. What did I buy? If you take office, now 250,000, you go pay. So you get. You go to the negotiation. You're 50.
No.
You cannot do it.
No soft landing. No soft landing. That country, no soft landing. No soft. And if you waka any kind waka, they will kidnap you. Your people will pay.
That's ransom as well. And now that's another one. And that one is not negotiable. They don't negotiate ransom.
No negotiable, Baba. Everybody they pay for that country. Whether you are rich or poor.
I know.
I'm not going back to that country again. I'm not going back to that place again.
Anyway,
I'm not going back to that place again.
Not like that. Not like the way it is right now, honestly. But
never. Something has to happen. Baba, thank you.
Have a good one, okay?
Yes.
So this is another caller. I mean, there's something I want to say, by the way. All right. See, surprisingly, I just woke up one morning on the 4th of December, and I just got kicked out of my Twitter account, which I opened as far back as 2013. Yeah, that was like 12 years ago, or 13, maybe 12, right? I got kicked out, and they kept telling me that they are unable to recognize my email address. I was like, Shema, you need the same email address. The same email address where you send the receipt of my Twitter premium charges, because they take money from me every month, right? And then that's them getting back to me again, telling me that we are sorry, but they are going to remove money from my bank this month for this Twitter. I don't understand how this works, okay? And right now, I've not been on my Twitter for the past month now. So I'm saying this now, just in case if tomorrow somebody hack into it and they start using it to message any of you. I have not have access to my Twitter in the last 2 months, nearly 2 months now, okay? Just so you know. Sir Theophilus, Sir Theo, how are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I am very well, sir. Thanks so much for asking.
Happy New Month and an happy birthday.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, it's been a while though. We've been trying to call. Sometimes I would like, let me just be listening.
Right.
And be watching, because our convertale magbo Maiyegun.
The dedicated Templars. God bless you for me.
Yes. Yes. And we are wishing you journey mercy to America in advance.
Yes, so I'm going to be at your birthday this year. It's, even though we are not, you are not doing the big one like you did last year.
Last year, yeah.
But yeah, why not? I should be around this year to help you cut the palo cake this time.
Exactly. Maiyegun, thank you for everything you've been doing.
Thank you, sir.
You know, like I keep saying, we will keep praying for you. We are your, how do they put it? We are your secret disciples, secret prayer warriors.
Silent watchers.
Silent watchers and silent prayer warriors for you.
Thank you.
And God will continue to protect and provide for you and take care of your children, your family, and the work of your hand. Maiyegun, I just want to use this occasion to tell the real Yorubas, both Muslim, Christians, and Babalawo, Mamalawo, and Sisterlawos, that that issue, that voice mail that you just played a while ago, we shouldn't just take it like that with levity. These people are coming up with a lot of plans. They've been planning, like you said. They plan this and it will fail. They'll bring another one. It failed. They will bring the other one. It will fail.
Was I not right, Baba? 7 years out of 8 years of Bokwari, we're battling with Luga, Katu Colony, Grazing Route, and other nonsense they tried to push. Everything failed. Everything failed. But here we are.
They are not stopping. Yeah, they are not stopping. Yeah, we are again with the Sharia stuff and and things like that. And the Omwali, the Olori Burukus among us, we want to go along with them. What has Sultan of Sokoto got with Yoruba land? What?
I don't know. For him to even say that, the Muslims in Yoruba land are being marginalized. I was like, what is he talking about?
Yeah. They're just pushing the agenda of what they did to the Hausas. Like said, you pity the Hausas. That's what they are pushing. Because by the time they come over and they get their ways, they will tell you our Obas are not
our ways are no longer acceptable.
And it's not acceptable. Then they will start from the Obas. They will start killing the Oba and installing their emirs and so on and so forth. And now I'm using this opportunity again to call on the Iwos, the people of Iwos, the good people of Iwo. It's high time they do something about that good for nothing Igbolabi, what is his name?
Oluwo, Rashidi,
Oluwo,
Dangbana.
Rashidi, Rashidi Dangbana. Yes, it's high time to do something before it is too late. If not, they're going to regret it. And thank God for the people of Oyo with this new Alaafin of 18. You know, there was one of the prince that has a kind of a relationship with the Sultan, according to what we had. And they
But
tried.
they said the other guy, what's his name again? Agubi Ade or something.
Yeah.
Is it the one that got rejected, Abi? Well, I heard it, but they said it's propaganda of Sheyi Makinde and co.
Is Makinde not a Yoruba man?
I know. They said it's this their propaganda to make him look so bad. That he has an affiliation. He was raised in the north, and he's got this affiliation to the Sultan. I don't know what to believe. Anyway. They said it's their propaganda, Shababa.
Well, it's up to them. Either propaganda or not, we are waiting and we are opening our eyes.
Yeah,
we will see the end. But we should not just take it just like that and think, it's just talking. It's not just talking.
No,
there are people behind him, you know, and if care is not taking it, they will continue to push the agenda. And
you see,
like you always said,
it doesn't take much time before people who are, who are like Muslims, right? And some who are very gullible to begin to actually see the rejection of this their political Sharia as an indirect attack on their faith, and they begin to side with them. We're already having few of them right now, right?
Yeah.
But they are in the minority. Because it is not the Christians, mind you, sir, it's not the Christians or other religions that are saying no Sharia, right? Those who are actually fronting it are Muslims.
They are.
The idea they are now pushing is that it is because they have been bullied to say that. What the hell are you talking about? Bully Muslims in Yoruba land? Are you being serious? Where?
Those days, back in the days when I were in primary school, and we have a lot of allergies. This is at my father's house. This is Alaji's house. My father is a priest with this Methodist of a thing. My father is a priest. We have allergy. Whatever the allergies are doing, we are there. If they don't see us, they will say,
nothing. Everybody just coexist together.
Go and call. Go and look for Baba Kayode, Baba Jonathan. Wow, then we will also call them. Go and Luku. Go and call Luku. Go and call Sharafa. Oh, we have. We live peaceably among ourselves until this bastard. Oh my God! And look at the way that guy was talking, as if about the body of Benue. You know that it's none of us. Yeah, it's none of us. It's none of us.
Like he's so inferior. He's so inferior of himself that he believes that is Fulani. What do you call because your father is Yoruba, your mother is Fulani. You're not automatically supposed to claim your own father's heritage. From where I come from, Babalolomo. Is that what we say?
Yes. Babalolomo, that's what we say, man.
Babalolomo lotito. Babalolomo lododo. Nile Yoruba o Babalolomo.
Yeah. I would say
somebody will tell you that his own father's heritage is inferior to God. Damn it, man.
That is what we do, and that is how it is. So, anyway, God will help us, God will see us through, and it will not happen.
Thank you so much, sir. Okay, enjoy the rest of the evening over there, right?
And you do the same, brother.
You have a good one. Bye. Yes, sir. Prayer docents. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you so much for that precious gift. I always appreciate you know that, right? Thank you, ma'am. Then the prayers. Again, I say thank you too, and amen to them. Right? God bless you, ma'am. And my regards to everyone as well. Okay, Agbeke and the kids. We'll hear your message as well. Thank you, ma'am. See, on MaiyegunsDiary Politico, there is a bit of clarity that we love to emphasize on all the time. All right, especially when we see agendas that are being pushed by the political class, whether they are hiding it behind tribe, ethnic, or even religion. The purpose of this platform is to make you see through them, so that the people they usually play on their own emotions and what have you, using what they think you valued or you sort of cherish, whether it is your religion, your faith, or whether it is your tribe or your ethnic. So we get to make you realize, to make you see through the blur lines that, so when we are dealing with charlatans, when we are dealing with chancers, when we are dealing with manipulators, those who are very good in the game of deceit using religion, right? You can easily, right, learn how to deal with them without you being dragged into it and by using your religion. No. Whether you are, whether it is the tribal war or ethnic supremacy agenda they are pushing, MaiyegunsDiary Politico is always very much willing and ready to make you see through, right, the entire scheme or charade without you taking offense by, feeling like because you have this tribal or ethnic affinity or connection to the agenda at hand. So on MaiyegunsDiary Politico, you have that choice to see through the bloodlines, because this is the way they have sustained their different evil, inhuman, divisive, destructive, disruptive agendas. If you pay attention very well, the rogues in Nigeria, their usual modus operandi is to steer controversies around religion, controversies around tribe, controversies around ethnic, and what have you. Meanwhile, if you see through the entire thing, you will see the political undertone, and you will realize that none of this agenda is in the interest of those they are trying to win over to help them propagate this nonsense. So if you are a Christian, for example, and you see the likes of Eroboye, Oledepo, Kumuyi, and the rest of them like that, whenever they are out of the line, trying to use religion to justify the criminality of those in government, on MaiyegunsDiary Politico, you will be able to see through it. And as a Christian, you will never be offended. In fact, the only offense you are going to take is them trying to think you are gullible, that you are stupid, that you can't reason, you can't think yourself. That can get you really, really angry. But your anger is never going to be misdirected. You're never going to see Maiyegun as your enemy or your problem because he's saying something about your pastors. They are not your pastors. These are just dog of men or men of dogs, so to say. Similarly, when you see them push the agenda of Islamic this, Islamic that, Muslim, and other nonsense they have pushed in the past, it is on MaiyegunsDiary Politico, you as a Muslim will realize that those who are pushing this agenda, they don't give a damn about you as a Muslim. They don't care whether you are a Muslim or not. They don't. But they believe that if you as a Muslim is gullible enough to fall for their trap, for their trick, then they will have in you a ready-made army who will think is defending his religion, but unknowingly or ignorantly, what you are defending is the agenda of criminals who don't give a damn about your religion. They don't give a damn about you. Okay? So, similarly, to those who are like who are like the Yorubas, the Igbos, Hausas, or whatever you are from, or wherever you are from, we have established it on MaiyegunsDiary Politico again and again that, you see, if tribe really means something to these rogues, right? There are some tribes that their people have been in charge of Nigeria for years, but yet, these ethnic or tribes have been up. They have a share. They have their own fair share in the misgovernance, the bad governance of these rogues who have ascended to the leadership positions using their tribe, using their ethnic. So nobody gives it, they don't give a damn about you. Those who are Yoruba, I mean, Yorubas are there right now, Abi. So can you tell me that the Yorubas are enjoying Nigeria now than the rest of you who are non-Yorubas? Would you say that the Yorubas are not being kidnapped and paying ransom to terrorists as we speak? Would you say that the economy in Yoruba land is kind of like so good that the inflation is non-existent in Yoruba land? So the bottom line is that on MaiyegundsDiary Politico, you will get to know that those in charge of the contraption they don't give a damn about you, whether you are from their tribe or not. They only care about themselves. And the only thing we have in common is that they've democratized the shege for all of us, whether you are a Christian or a Muslim. Muslims in Nigeria today will never tell you that their life is better. The rest of you are non-Muslim because they have Muslim president and vice president. So MaiyegundsDiary Politico is to clear this bloodline, this bloodline to make you see through the whole thing and never, ever get recruited by the rogues who don't give a damn about you, simply because you are a Christian or you are a Muslim, or because you are a Yoruba or Hausa, or you are Igbo or you are this or that. They don't give a damn about us. And you can't be their own ready-made army to defend them because of your affinity to them. Here is the caller. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Maiyegun General. Babani. Maiyegun Zide. Ojelu Esuraki.
God bless you, Baba. How are you, Baba?
Baba. I'm good. How are you?
Well, very well. Oh, I mean, I can't complain. No?
Thank God. First of all, I want to say a very big thank you to you, to every member of TOT and every well-meaningful Nigerian, irrespective of our other passports, wherever we are, wherever we find ourselves. So you've brought a very, very good topic to the temple tonight, and also a few days ago about this religion, whatever.
They are not giving up.
Religion,
they are just not giving up.
At all.
Like,
I feel, religion is a very sensitive topic to debate about. And it has always been the Islamists, the Muslims that have always been the ones, trying to destabilize every region. If you look at the whole world, look at South American, for instance. Even South America, as bad as they said it is, drug, all those things. But South America is still very stable. Cartel this, cartel. Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing like religion problem there because there are 99.9% of Christians there. You understand? But wherever you find all these Muslims, there will definitely, because that their Quran, the religion itself, has taught them about being extremists, killing other people, infidel for Allah, for Prophet Muhammad. Yeah, it's in the Quran. I've asked a friend of mine that, okay, brother, let's debate about this. Let's take away, any other feelings. Let's be faithful one-to-one. Even in the Bible, is there in the Old Testament that you should take a stone and stone anybody that wants to take you to go and worship any other God except from the Almighty God? You understand? But the Christians have applied knowledge that is in the Old Testament. When Jesus Christ came, he has washed all that away. He has brought a new teachings, a new way of life in the New Testament. You understand? And the one before was in the law of Moses.
Somebody still come out sword and just cut somebody's hair for questioning Jesus. And Jesus had to kind of pick up the hair and then put it back and don't ever do that again.
Again, exactly. So Jesus is showing you to be tolerant. You understand? Irrespective of whatever question anyone wants to ask. But these Muslims, they are the one not being tolerant. They are the one. Now look at during Christmas, you brought it here on the TOT, where in a mosque that they were pasting different banners in Lekki. Is it phase 1 or phase 2? Just because exactly. And
Exactly, unnecessary. You can never see any church all over Nigeria that will preach against the Muslim, that will mention against the Muslim and start attacking them. Christians always face their own business. It is the Muslims that are not tolerant. Now there are being a lot of them in
But
Yoruba land that
in
they are,
Yoruba land, right, we have Muslims. Okay, if we all of us want to, if we want to be very honest, like you said yourself, right, there are no no kind of like any situation, right, where they will say, oh, the Muslims in Ibadan, they are now attacking every church or anyone, everyone, everywhere. Never.
Yeah.
Or they say
absolutely.
So in Ijebu, they are attacking, never. So that level of coexistence and tolerance is so kind of it's seated well with us in the Yoruba land. But now we're having these strange teachings, strange ideas, where people are. So I've never been called an infidel in my life, but now I'm an infidel.
Absolutely, 100%. And where I want to come in from is generally in the religion of Islam, it's not a tolerance religion. If you look at the entire Middle East, you see what is going on there. I don't need to go too much deep in it. Religion itself has destroyed the entire Middle East. We've got a lot of religion in the world that are older than Islam. We've got Hindu, we've got Sikh, we've got Buddhist, we've got a lot, even Nkanka. A lot of people, even in Nigeria, there are a whole lot of religions. You see some people, you think maybe they are Christians. They are not Christians. They are Nkanka. They are atheists who doesn't believe in God. Loads, thousands of them in Nigeria of today. So a lot of people believe that if you are not Christian, it's either you're Muslim or you are the traditionalist. But it's not like that. So the problem is, even the Islam itself, the teachings in the Quran teaches them to be attacking, not to be tolerant, to take everything jihad, to be extreme. But the Yoruba Muslim have applied knowledge to extend that because they are educated. They've mixed with other people from different tribes and religion. So they've acquired a lot of knowledge in human relations, in applying wisdom to things. But look at the North. They are absolutely 90% illiterate. How many of them go to school? The people not that I remember many years ago, over 20-something years ago, when they told me that there's admission that even though you score maybe 50 in JAMB, you enter. And I saw people, family friends, who go to University of Jos, University of Maiduguri, University of Sokoto, this one, that one, and they score 100, score 120 in JAMB. And they are getting admission freely there. So what education do they have there? Even those that call themselves professor today, doctorate degree there, they are still extremists. The education hasn't shown in them because they are, from beginning, they are bound to that religion, to that extremism. That's what they've used to teach them. Average children, if you're not coming from a elite family in the North, you are bound to go to all these Islamic teachings. You understand? So, and
all that,
yeah. So, sorry, Maiyegun, I'm just eating
them know
pepper.
that they should keep it out of Yoruba land. It doesn't mean that they don't have people who probably admires them, okay? But this one, like the Aruga, I mean, Baba, you remember that those who supported the Aruga, they said for peace. Yorubas, exactly. That, what is wrong? What is wrong in starting a ranch? What's wrong in starting a Ruga? I was like, are you mad?
In 2025, you want to be doing Ruga?
Like if anybody wants to have a ranch, go and buy land. Does that mean that you have to kill us, kidnap us, then force us to give you our land as part of the deal? Who does that? So
exactly.
We shall be on hand as well and watch
and
this.
Yeah, and the most, the most saddest thing is that what these people were talking about, they've surrounded the whole Yoruba land.
Honestly.
People don't know. People will be there in Lagos, Lekki Island, all this thing, enjoying. But they're surrounded. They are just waiting for the goal. Once the goal stand,
that's
is over.
That place, I mean, that is the level, the place where I totally somehow disagrees with Are Onokakanfo, who also claim to have all this information, right? So, Baba, though I have to give him his own credit, so not be saying no make move, at least he did, to the point that his own boys got arrested, okay, and locked up because they chased a Fulani kidnapper up north of Oyo, right? But if you know, I mean, if you have the details where all these guys are camped and all of that, enough of Fenu win the war. It's time to unleash it on them, and you don't even have to publicize it. You get that now? We're supposed to be neutralizing all these cells they set up in Yoruba land for those who have the information and wherewithal.
Yeah, I understand your stance, but it's not easy for Kanka to just unleash war. It needs an order from the Alaafin. Alaafin of Oyo is the, supreme leader. Yeah, the supreme leader in the Yoruba land. Whenever he gives a go, there is a go. If he says come, then. So, and now there's no Alaafin of Oyo. You know the story now.
I do.
You know the story. Yeah. So now, and it doesn't, things has changed. Even if there is Alaafin of Oyo can't just say, oh yeah, go. When there's government of Oyo state, there's local government, there's federal government, and every other, So it's a bit tricky. And Baba, think about all our politicians in Yoruba land now. What are they doing? They are dancing to the tune of those Fulani because those ones give them money now, Baba.
I know. And then they are guaranteed of, a bit of political power as
exactly.
Well. And I don't even understand how that works. Like a Fulani will decide who is going to be governor or what, or who is going to be a senator.
God bless you.
But they have become so like obsessed with them that they will all go to, you will see them with Babangida, they will be jumping from one place to the other.
I'm telling
just
you.
To have this
I'm telling you. From them. And it's so sad that many people that we have in the corridor of power today, governors, senators, House of Rep members, even at the state level, they are all, people who doesn't have the goods of the Yorubas attached. The Yoruba will describe it as you understand? Once they give them, yeah. So my fear now is that if Yoruba people of well-meaning Yorubas in Yoruba land doesn't come together, we should forget about all these our leaders. Then Yoruba will be conquered. And we need those our multi-billionaire pastors. They need to use their influence. There was a video that went viral, one white American preacher that say a story. I will send it to you tonight, Maiyegun. I will put my voice note. I will put a message there. Right. I have the video. I kept it for a long time. That says many of our pastors don't care about killings of Christians in the north, even some in the middle belts. They are flaunting their private jet, traveling up and down.
Not happening, and now.
Exactly.
Don't want to offend their Satan of Shokoto, I think.
So look at a person like Adeboye now that went to Rufai, a Fulani man, to get contract for his son. And call him a very good man. Which mouth he want to talk to Rufai, say stop killing Christians in southern Kaduna? And thank God now those Christians
was that high, Baba, to go and they said they should come and do crusade. So
crusade. I remember now.
Peaceful.
Exactly.
Didn't know that he was actually going there to get a contract of 19 billion naira road contract for his son.
Yes, and they pay upfront. And do you even believe that from the old? They said they even pay more than that money amount that is in the media because he's the son of that kind of a man that they think is a man of God. So train a person like Adeboye want to talk. Now we say they don't get bait on him now. If you talk, they go expose him, they go arrest him. Corruption. All of them.
Thank you very much.
Baba is sad. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
I'm glad that we
have
a platform to share all this, by the way. So
at the end of the day, now where we there abroad, we be saying now we go fight that war, Baba. Baba, our Mogun and Nile Yoruba, we get people who ready. We say we give me the motivation, we need the weapons. Juju, Baba, Owanle, Ibile. This one will be say when I did for Nigeria, if I still come anytime, it dey grand. We be say all these Muslims they go wrong. What do they know?
That's
We
what
go
I'm
they
saying
use
as well.
egg,
Like, one can do shakara for and say you want to start
Baba,
a
they
jihad.
tell
Jihad
you
in Yoruba. Oh yeah, now.
for where?
You
For
know.
where? And as Gani Adams they are like as they don't talk, don't back and say no, because in there over 500,000 boys OPC.
Yeah.
Where me I know.
Abroad.
Where we say we they give money every month, we they pay them, they do security for us. The updates they go 247 Maiyegun. So all these Muslim, all these one, they are just minority. We say Ali Loka Omole Konsare, Ali Masai you alone, Masai you one young king.
You know,
Baba, thank you very much.
Let me take one more so that I can call it a night. Okay, thank you so
All
much.
right,
Okay,
Baba.
for
Take
your
care.
time.
Yeah.
God bless you. So I want to believe that this must be Osita, and we only have just about 2-3 minutes to go. Hello there. Can you still hear me? Oh, I just lost. Hang on. I think, did I get you back? Hello.
One name.
One name.
One name Duto.
One name Gamba. You are Osita.
You are Ike Jagamba.
Tell them. How are you, Baba?
Onukwiri.
Tell them.
That's what. My brother, happy birthday. Anyway.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much, Osita.
God will continue to elevate you.
Amen.
Will go beyond your limits. You will never have it. You are prepared. That is what. Anyway, my brother.
God bless you, Osita.
You know, we've been having this discussion all this while, and we'll keep discussing this thing. And it seems for me, we're meeting somebody, either we like it or not.
And that will be?
And that person is Tinubu.
In the old scheme of things, right?
Yes. You know, during Buhari dispensation, a lot of people think that, when the power shifts to the south, as they were saying that the power has to shift to the south, that all these things will dry up, everything will go.
Remember, they told us so.
Yeah. But what happened? Even right now, it's worse than Buhari period. Let me tell you, let's be frank. Because it's one, they try to suppress the news. Everybody knows that. Nobody's talking about what is happening. So that is the reason I say we will keep talking. But the main person that we have to put on the spot, that is that is there. Nobody talks about him. Everybody keep talking about the Islamic cleric, the traditional rulers, the pastors. But what is he doing? When APC was coming into power, when they were attacking PDP, they attacked PDP to the time of Obasanjo.
Yes.
Claiming that Obasanjo was the one that kept quiet and they established Sharia law in the northern part of Nigeria. Obasanjo was not on seat as at that time. And nobody's talking about Tinubu. What the heck is wrong with us? That we know where our problem is. If the people of the southern part of Nigeria, if we hold our own responsible, I don't want to say because of his Yoruba, because it could still come to Igbo land where I come from. But if we hold our own responsible, maybe the people that are closest to him, people who are influential in his life, no matter how strong a man is, there is always an influence around him. Those people will be able to tell him that if you want to die for this cause, die for this cause. That this thing must not happen. Put up a law there and say, there is no more marauding of Fulanis. And everything will dry away when you say there is no marauding. Give the state police that one opportunity. If they catch any of them, prosecute them. Maybe we will have a little bit of sanity. The reason I call it a little bit of sanity, there's no sanity at all in what we are doing. We don't have a single sanity. So let us channel our own thought.
I love calling him out myself. I do. I love calling him out because this is just to remind, it's just to remind those who were so the Kool-Aid that is a Yoruba. And I'm saying that what exactly would we now say is the benefit of Yoruba, having a Yoruba man there why we are still subjected to this kind of terrorism in our land. And now a religious crisis is brewing because some people from northern Nigeria feels like the Yoruba Muslims should be more extreme. And yeah.
My brother, the truth to the matter is, most of the time I watch some people, they will come here and say, oh, they don't know Tinubu. Tinubu is so strong. He's not strong anything. I've always said that thing. He kept the bargaining chip that Tinubu used in getting the power was this thing that we are seeing.
I mean,
that he must work.
Promising them that they will give them this, they will give them that.
He's a bargaining chip. He bargained into power. And that is what we are seeing. He did that. And not only that, you ask yourself, the tax bill or whatever bullshit they call it. I'm sorry I use that BS here. That nonsense they call it. I am telling you, at the end of the day, where did you get to? It was what the northern oligarch or the governors, what they actually bargained for was what we settled for. Was what he settled for. Why did he not settle for the thing that is right or what he proposed? He proposed. So these things, let's not.
So it's not circumstantial at all. It is not coincidence. Yes. And we should let's
not be rigmaroling in a particular spot. Let's not beat around the bushes. The truth that the thing has expired. The thing called Nigeria has expired. The only way we can survive, the only way we can survive as human beings is that we have to break it off, let everybody go their separate ways.
Thank you so much.
Most of the time, most of the times that if I'm on X and I'm discussing, sometimes I'll just say, let me discuss. If I'm talking about it, some people might think because I'm an Igbo man, that's the reason I'm talking about it. And if the Yoruba man talks bad about, let's say Peter Obi now, you will say because, oh, it's because of he's a Yoruba man. And vice versa, that's the way we are. We are suspect to each other.
You know?
Why don't we just come under one umbrella, one voice, one attitude, under a grace, and let us demand for only one thing we've never demanded for before, commonly or collectively. Let us collectively demand for it. Let everybody go their separate ways.
God bless you, Sita.
Thank you very
so much. You have a wonderful evening over there. And then, dear brethren, our time is now very much up. And I want to say a very big thank you to everyone that's been part of this chat this evening. Tomorrow is another day, which is Sunday, by the way. So I'm going to see you tomorrow evening. And if anything changes, right, I will likely see you in the afternoon as well. And if I don't, then obviously I'll see you in the evening. But hey, thank you so much for being part of the chat this evening. Okay, just remember, as we are calling it a night, if you haven't really liked the broadcast, please do. And if you haven't shared it as well, please do. And finally, if you haven't subscribed to MaiyegunSDiary Politico again, please do. So good night from here. Good night.
Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. MaiyegunDiary Maiyegun number one. Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.